Welcome to Rogue Bogues, episode 29. Pro, how's it going?
Bogues, glad to be on U.S. soil, brother. Glad to be on U.S. soil.
Now, we have a very, very special guest, Pro. I'm going to let you lead him in because you're the best with the banter. So what do we got?
One of the most decorated Australian players ever to play the game of basketball. I first saw him in '88 in Seoul when he played for Seton Hall. I thought it was Doc Brown from fucking Back to the Future, but it wasn't. I thought he was like 60 fucking years old. His career came full circle. He played against Karl Malone, Moses Malone, and guarded Moses, who fucking parted the Red Sea. None other than Andrew Gaze. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, I appreciate it. I've had some introductions before, but that's unique to say the very least. So I'm happy to be alongside you two. I've heard a lot about what you guys do, and I'm really looking forward to some of your takes on the goings-on over the last couple of weeks.
Well, obviously you don't listen to us because if you did, there's no fucking way you should have came on the show in the first place.
No.
We'll just start it from there.
I'm aware of the little snippets that I've heard that have been, they're interesting. That's like I say, I'm really keen to hear your takes on some of the recent activities, both in the NBA and, of course, here in Australia with
a lot going on,
the Boomers and the Opals. There's a lot going on.
We'll get to that a little later. That's the main reason why we brought Drewy here is the pinnacle of Australian basketball. Can give us some intel on the Olympics. How many Olympics for you? 5?
I went to 5.
5.
Yep. Back in
record setting.
84 was my first.
So Pro was right. It was during the DeLorean days.
Shit.
That's right. Before it was the last Olympics before
amateur,
the three-point line.
And amateur, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was the year Jordan was in those games. Michael Jordan was there. Bobby Knight was the coach of USA. They beat Spain, I think, in the final. And, it was great times in LA. Oh, they know how to put on Olympic games.
Bogues, Gaze perfected his floater over Bill Russell back in the 50s.
No. They actually had taken the laces out of the ball by the time I got there, but it was great times. And those games were fantastic as well. They were a lot of fun. And really at a time when the Olympics was going through some tough times with all the boycotts and everything going on, LA and the Americans showed how you can actually make money out of the thing.
Yeah, we're at a similar time right now with coronavirus, I think, but we'll get to that later. Let's start with the NBA final. You've been following the NBA finals,
I have.
Drewy?
Why would I have?
It's 2-2 right now at time of recording. Game 5 is tomorrow. It's been a great series. I think it's been back and forth, exactly what you want to see in a series. Some notes that I've got. Drew Holiday picking up full court. CP3, I think it's starting to wear CP3 down. Drew Holiday is an all-league defender. There's rumors that CP3 has a torn ligament in his hand, and you can just see the fatigue setting in. A lot of those shots that were falling for CP in those first 2 games aren't falling. Giannis has been Giannis, phenomenal. We'll get to some of his stats a little bit later in our stats segment, but for a guy that doesn't really shoot the ball that well, absolutely dominating. 3-ball wasn't falling much for Phoenix these last 2 games, and I was kind of weary of that. They shot the piss out of the ball the first 2 games, and I was like, I don't know if you can sustain that for a series. I think Aiden's been pretty good in this series. Small ball for small ball has been the MO of this series. We've seen Brooke and Aiden be subbed at different times. Aiden's been subbed out. 40 ball from Booker last game. Pro, what do you got for us? And then we'll get Drew to give his take.
No, I agree. Like, CP's been so good, Bogues, throughout the playoffs, and he didn't really show up what he should have done. He looked very ineffective, and that was big for them because they needed that other guy. Booker had a great game. He was efficient, taking the ball to the basket, making shots. But, they just needed that other guy. They don't have that other scorer, really. They've got good spotter players. They've got Ayton, who's good, running the floor, screening, scoring on the post. But they really need that other scorer, and CP really shows that. We talked about, the $100 million he wanted. And up to this point, everyone was saying, yeah, they'll probably do it. That was a big part of it. And I think you're right. I think Holiday wore him out, and he just was very ineffective. Middleton looked great. Giannis looked very good, but I think Middleton really carried them throughout, last game. And it was interesting because, I fucked Phoenix as is. I picked them to win. And as you know, my picks are completely the other side. So if you really want to make money, just take the other side of what I tell you to fucking bet, and you'll make plenty of fucking money. Gaze, what do you got, brother?
Well, I actually think that it's going to be interesting, the reaction from Paul, because he's been lauded throughout the entire series. At his age, is it starting to wear him down, and speculation about an injury. But it's going to be home court versus momentum. You've got this home court advantage coming up for Phoenix, but the momentum of when you've won 2 in a row and everything they've been able to do, and Middleton has been spectacular down the stretch of games. He's coming up big, and you look at Middleton and the volume of shots in that game 4. He took a lot of shots, and was at a reasonable clip. But when it counted most, there were some huge plays down the stretch that really got him over the line. So I've been on Phoenix the entire time, and I like the story of Chris Paul, and I really like Chris Paul and the way he goes about and the way he plays. So I'm hopeful for him. But, Bogues, as you mentioned, Giannis has been very, very good. We know the back-to-back 40s, but that block shot,
man,
that was
huge.
I mean, he was in that situation where he's in that drops. He was able to help out and still get back to block the alley-oop. It was one of the plays which I've heard a lot of people talking about, but I think as time goes by, and depending what happens in the series, that could become the iconic moment. You know, the LeBron run down, the chase down that you were there, folks. It's that type of impact I think that play could have, because it was a pivotal time of the game, and I'm still hopeful for the Suns, but I'm nervous for them.
Yeah, I mean, I like Milwaukee. I think I've touched on it in previous episodes. Just Giannis signing that max to stay in a small market and to solidify that with a chip would be sensational. Playing in Milwaukee, it has a probably softer spot in my heart.
Of course.
But that Giannis play, man, off 1 foot too, and his post-game comments around that was hilarious. He was like, I was either going to get dunked on,
yes.
And then he was trying to explain how he didn't put his hand near the rim. He actually went for the ball, and if he would have been closer to the rim, he would have been on a poster, which he usually puts people on. He actually said, if that was me, I would have dunked on him, So unbelievable play, but momentum will be huge. I think the pressure's on Phoenix, to be honest. Even though they have home court,
my word,
I think going back home, no momentum now. You've lost 2 straight, and now the pressure's back on you to hold home court at all costs. It's going to be interesting to see if they can hold on, Pro.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of pressure there for sure, but I still think that Milwaukee has to win on the road, against them, and I think they could hold it. I'm not going to count out CP. I know how the media fucking acts like they love you one day and now they want to throw you off a fucking cliff, which they've done to him the last 72 hours. So I'm going to stay with them, which I'm actually fucking the city. I'm bending over the city of fucking Phoenix that's taking them again for the next game. But I still think that, this is 2 out of 3 in Phoenix. I think they're going to win. I think it'll probably go 7 because I don't think they can win at Milwaukee. But I think that they're going to hold home court, which totally fucking the whole city of Phoenix. I apologize.
Your F-bombs, bro. You're throwing Gaze into a spin, mate. He's never heard so many F-bombs per minute.
Gaze, seriously, brother. Hey, just take a bath in holy water when you fucking leave this show. Just get used to it.
No, it's just the volume, the usage is
it's a high
outstanding.
usage. Yeah, we get a few complaints, but most people like it, and it's the Boston. I think he gets away with it because he's got the Boston list.
He does.
So people kind of feel sorry for him a little bit.
Hey, just get used to it, brother. Don't worry about it. It'll be over soon.
I've got a bit of a potty mouth at the best of times, but gee whiz, it's the usage rate is phenomenal.
Yeah, appreciate you. Hey, for all the joy you've given me over the years, Gaze, I'm about to return the fucking favor for you, brother.
God love you. Thank you.
All right, so where are we at, gents? It's 2-2 right now. Is this? I picked it going 7 pre-series. I picked it going 7 when it was 1-0, I believe, for Phoenix. I still thought it'd go 7. I'm still going to stick to 7. I'm going to say Milwaukee in 7. What do you have, Drewy?
I'm going with Pro. I think that it'll go the distance and the home court will prevail. That's
so Phoenix 4-3.
Phoenix in 4, yeah.
Okay. Pro?
Phoenix in 7 for sure.
Okay, so that means Milwaukee are going to win because Pro gave him the old hoodoo.
Yeah, that means Milwaukee in 6.
Milwaukee in 4 now.
Yeah, Milwaukee in 4. Milwaukee in 3.
All right, so that's a final. We'll see how that goes. Willie Green has been hired by the New Orleans Pelicans, so former assistant coach with the Warriors. It's going to be interesting. He hasn't been a head coach before, former player, well liked as a person. I think that's probably the number one priority these days in coaching. You can be the best X's and O's guy in the world. You can have the best system. But if you can't relay that to your players, communicate, give them hugs when they need be, get on them when they need be, you're not going to survive in this league. But how do you see the hiring Pro? Do you think this is Zion's hiring, or do you think the New Orleans Pelicans have gone through a thorough process?
Well, look, I think that sometimes teams they jump the gun on teams that win championships, or at least leaning that way of winning a championship. And, I say this all the time, winning teams, everybody gets overpaid. Everybody gets overexposed as far as, you can't get their best player in free agency. So what are you going to do? You're going to keep going down the line to get that quote unquote bullshit secret sauce stuff. So same thing with coaching. Obviously, you're not going to get Monty Williams, so you're going to keep going down their bench because everybody sort of wants a piece of that. I admire the move in the fact that you're not just going over a retread coach and you're going over after somebody new. For me, I would have hired Jamal Mosley in this spot. I would have hired him early. And it's a little interesting because I don't know if Green's ready yet. He's only been an assistant for a few years, but who's ever ready? And Zion's ready to, he's 1 foot out the door anyway. So, and obviously the Van Gundy thing didn't work, and the Gentry thing didn't work with him. And his people hated Gentry. His people hated Van Gundy. So you need a guy right now that's going to sort of, like you said, be friendly with the players, give them a hug, sort of have a kumbaya in the locker room a little bit. And also, let's not forget this unit. The front office these days wants to control the coaching staff. So now a younger coach, they hire him year one. They get a lot more input over staff hirings, what he runs and when he runs it. So I think that sort of had a little bit to do with it as well. It's interesting, though, the hire. I probably would have went somebody a little more experienced. But you know what? It's good for them for hiring somebody that's not just a retread. They're just, they're going out on a limb a little bit and hiring somebody with limited experience.
Yeah, there is some risk there, though. Like you said, he's kind of, wet behind the ears still, I guess, as you'd say. And I think this is a Zion hiring. I think it is. I think they're trying to do everything they can to make sure it's not Anthony Davis 2.0, where he just gets out when he's out of contract or signs the max and then asks to be traded. So I think they're trying to do what they can to keep him in New Orleans. But there's risk with that as well. And they could surround a whole team around him that he wants, and players and coaches, and then in 2 years he could leave anyway, and then you're stuck holding a bag of bad contracts and coaches that you didn't want. But it's a valid point you made around the GM and the front office. You can definitely control a coach more that's young and hasn't had a whole lot of experience. I mean, how do you see it, Andrew?
Well, the thing about it is these days, as I look at the NBA, it just as in a broad view, you look at the way the teams played. When was the last time you saw something unique in an
This is Pro's pet peeve. You've hit it on the head. He's going to be so happy.
Is that right? Well, it's everyone does the same stuff. There is nothing different. And when you've got a coach that's young, and I think it's more to your point, Bogues, is that if you'll go in there and provided your superstars have ticked this off and they've liked him and that they feel that he's going to wrap their arms around them and make them feel good, then that's probably more of a challenge than the X's and O's, because I can't, outside of maybe the Warriors when they were transforming the league in the way in which they used their talent and the three ball and some things that you go back a long time ago with the way the Spurs played.
Ball movement, yeah.
I can't think of too many unique systems these days. And to me, it's I don't want to say a blight on the game, but I think a league is more entertaining when you got the versatility. It's all about the stars and the ooh-ah moments now rather than about the system and a strategy, because everyone does the same. I'm watching these games now. I don't know why the coaches just don't get together and say, listen, I'm going to run this motion to get a matchup where this guy's guarding this guy. I know you're going to switch. I know you're going to do that. Yeah. Let's just do away with all that other stuff.
Just start that way in the first place.
Let's just understand this, and then we'll see how we go. Because it's just so. And of course, in the playoffs, it's different with the intensity. But I think that coaches these days, it's going to come down to man management a little bit more than it is the strategy, because unless he's doing the same strategy, it's going to take a big leap of faith for these new superstars to buy into something which you and I, Bogues, wouldn't consider radical, but those players may consider radical, like
flex cut.
Ooh, we're going to run a cut. My God, that type of stuff. So it's good luck to him. And he's you know him better than anyone, whether he's got the personality for him. But I don't get too fazed these days by the coaches, because it seems like everyone's doing the same thing.
Yeah, Pro, how happy are you right now?
everybody does the same fucking thing. Everybody's like offensively, it's the same shit. Ball movement, get the matchup you want, dribble 87 times, sidestep, step back, fade away jumper from 92 feet. Everybody defensively does the same thing. Everybody switches. 1 through 5 switch because Golden State did it and they won, and now everybody thinks they want to do it. Analytically, everybody wants to shoot fucking threes. Anyone from 4'9" players, from 9-foot zombies wants to take fucking threes. Everybody plays the same way. Every sportscaster, the color commentary, everybody says the same fucking bullshit. Space, pace, this coach is fucking great. This coach is great. Nobody's ever an average to below average coach. Everybody's Red fucking Auerbach. Everybody says the same shit. It looks the same. It's just, I want one person to just have some balls and just do it differently a little bit. Like Carlisle, when he did it, again, we're not fucking, we're not pen pals. We never will be, but like at least the guy. So
Carlisle fired pro for a little bit of history, Drew. Yeah.
The guy threw it in the post for once and fucking, to that 7'7" fucking zombie they got, and, Boban and it was a very effective. Nobody wants to post up because some MIT sports geek on every fucking staff tells them don't throw it in the post. And every time somebody does throw it in the post, it's effective. Especially when everybody's switching, in a 1-5 pick and roll. You got a guy who's 6'1" and you got a 7'3" guy. God forbid he catches in the post and does a post move. They'll throw it back out to another side step back, shot three. And nobody, I don't understand the fucking IQ of basketball players these days. Like, back in the day, it's like, look, I got this big on a cross screen, they switch, or a pick and roll, they switch, throw it into the post. And even if they're not going to score out of it, then you run some split action or cutting action off the ball. God forbid somebody actually, like you said, Gaze, God forbid somebody fucking cuts from the weak side. Like, have some movement. But yeah, I agree. Everybody does the same stuff.
Yeah, and then we've got Wes Unseld Jr. Getting the Washington job that was broken today, pro, by you to me. That's the first I heard of it. But a similar hire. He's been around a little bit more longer, though, than Willie Green. He's done his rounds. So an interesting one to see how that all goes. We know Washington's kind of 1 foot into a rebuild, but then they make the play for Westbrook, so you're not really rebuilding. They got Hachimura. They got a few other young pieces. Avdia from Israel, right? And yeah, I think they're half rebuild, half not. I don't love their roster. I don't love the direction they're going because there's no real science to it, but a young coach once again, as we've discussed, pro. What have you heard about him?
Very well schooled. He's been around a long time. I think he's been coaching close to 20 years, if not more, in the league as assistants in various spots. Yeah, he's been around. He's well respected. Again, he comes from a winning program in Denver. He's been there for a few years, and they obviously are not going to get Mike Malone or Michael Malone. I forgot which one you can't call him, but or rip your fucking head off. But Wes Unseld Jr. is, like I said, well respected. He's got a little more juice as far as because he's been around. He's been a little bit more, he's a veteran assistant. He could probably handle Westbrook a little bit more than a first-time coach would be. I probably would have tried to go maybe a little bit more experience here, but you know what? Like you said, half rebuild, half not. I'm not sure how much longer they're going to go with Bradley Beal before they move him, or Westbrook before they move him, or try to move him, or stretch him out or whatever. They'll probably go one more year with it, and then they'll probably start making some decisions as far as getting those guys out of town. But yeah, I think he deserves a chance. He's been there. He's been in the system a long time. He's seen a lot of things. Might as well give the guy a chance.
And good heritage too. His dad, and the heritage there with the organisation. There is there's a little bit of a romance because of I think that was a factor in them making that move as well. And the thing about the Wizards, I keep calling them the Bullets because that's how old I am.
He played for him,
and his dad.
Yeah, he played for him,
and his dad was there.
Yeah.
So that was in an era with Rex and Kenny Walker and Big Georgie, Big Gitzer, we used to call him. So there was it was a great time. But I heard, well, you read online that they are also one of the players that have in negotiations with talking about potential trade with Simmons.
Yeah.
And you're thinking about, well, how does that franchise take the next step? And you're going to have to give up something decent for him, of course, but that could be one of those moves where you put in place someone like Ben who can be transform it. And when you can go from, where are they? They're sort of in the middle of nowhere with their roster. You get him and you build around him.
I'm just not sure you can put him next to Westbrook.
Well, that's it. Not Westbrook, but it depends on...
Get rid of Westbrook, yeah.
Correct.
If you had Westbrook and Simmons, the defense literally be sitting in the fifth row waiting for them to shoot. The fifth row behind the basket waiting for them to shoot. But go ahead, Gaze. My bad.
No, it's all good. But that's, I think, with a new coach, and if they're able to pull off a move like that where you start to make noise and that after a horrific start, they actually made something of their season.
They did really well. Yeah, I picked them to make the playoffs early in the season because I just thought the intensity Westbrook plays with will get him some wins during the regular season.
But they were terrible.
They were horrible. I was like, what an awful pick by Bogues, and then it actually came that they battled and made the playoffs through the play-in, obviously. That brings us on to trade rumors. Last season was kind of hyped up to a lot was going to happen, and it didn't. It was there was a little bit that happened, but this season there's a lot of trade rumors. The first thing I want to touch on with Pro, and you, at least yourself, but mainly Pro, is how early do you start paying attention to trade rumors? Because the NBA news cycle is a genius news cycle, right? So for those that don't know, you've got the NBA regular season, which starts from, let's say, last week is October. Then you've got the NBA playoffs starting in April. Then you've got the lottery in May. Then you've got NBA finals in June. Then you've got the draft in June, July. Then you've got free agency and trade rumors. Then you've got summer league. They don't have 1 month of no news cycle. They own the market every month of the year. It's amazing, right? So how early, Pro, do you start paying attention to these trade rumors? Because we're going to go through some right now. There's a lot out there. Or do you just kind of wait and see till the draft?
I think you have to start a little earlier now, especially when Simmons is sort of open market on him. Lillard, they're talking about no, but you know how that is. They always say no, but then they're probably thinking behind closed doors about trades. I think with these higher picks, you might have to think about sort of situations if you're going to trade Simmons to a bad team. If you're going to trade him to Houston, Houston's probably going to have to give up that number 2 pick they have. So it's like now you have to pay attention to it a little earlier. You probably have to do it a little bit before the draft. You never know with this stuff, and it happens full circle. And it used to be after the draft you could probably start keying in on it maybe in August, September. Maybe somebody will do something before training camp or into the before the season starts officially. But now with these draft picks and things, I think you have to pay attention to it. A lot of these deals are being made on draft day now, to swap picks and things like that. So, yeah, I think you got to pay attention to it a little earlier, Bogues. What do you think?
Yeah, it's just interesting because it's getting earlier and earlier every season. And sometimes there's a lot of, like I said, in that news cycle, there's a lot of fluff being put out there just to, create some news and some things that are topical. But there is a lot out there. The Simmons ones, first off, there's the Dame Lillard ones, the big elephant in the room in the NBA. Pro, you mentioned to me that he's met with the organization, the coach, Chauncey, new coach. There's a lot of controversy about that hiring, which we've touched on. And the GM, he wants some direction around where they're going, right, Pro? And these are always hard conversations to have with your star player because you don't want to give your star player the keys to hire and fire everybody, but you obviously want him to hang around. I think he's been a good soldier for Portland, considering when you compare him to most superstars about any adversity or the team's not going as well as I want, get me out of here, or I'm going to go team up with a big 3 or a big 4. But where do you see that? Do you think he'll stay, Pro?
No, I think he's gone. Here's why I think he's gone, because I think he's going to give it one more year. They've done a pretty good job building that roster up. Everybody wants to nitpick, right? Like everybody wants to think that they need 9 members of the dream team on their fucking team, and it's impossible to do that. Look, they drafted McCollum, they drafted Lillard, they brought in Norman Powell, the trade, they made a couple of more trades. They got guys like Enes Kanter. They got the big kid, the big European kid. What's his name, Bogues?
Nurkic.
The 5-man. They got Nurkic on a nothing trade. Collins has been hurt for a couple of years. But they built it up the best they can. They just can't got anybody.
That's my point. So did they really build it up the best they can? They don't have one defender on their roster. They play no defense.
Yeah, agreed. But they sold their soul to the devil in the sense that they got 2 guards that are small that could score 1,000 points, but they're going to give up 1,050 points. You know what I'm saying? So those guys really score. They play a certain way. That's their NBA skill. They can go and score. They can do some things. But the problem they made was like a few years back. They gave Alan Crabb a huge contract. They got Whiteside, things like that. They got Leonard. They signed him to a pretty big deal. Those are the small deals when you fuck up on those things that comes back and haunt you instead of bringing in defensive-minded guys. But I'll tell you what, like I said, Willard, McCullough was good. Norman Powell was good. Bringing in some guys is good. I mean, they brought in some good players, but they just can't guard anybody. So they're not going to, you fired a coach you probably shouldn't have fired. I think he did the best they could with that roster, and they're not going to go very far. They'll probably, at best, win a round in the playoffs. But they can't go further than that. Look at the teams you got ahead of you. I just don't think you can do that. And now you got a coach who's never coached. He's never been a head coach in his life. And now he's got to learn. He's got to make mistakes like every first-year NBA coach does. They don't have that team Ty Lue did in Cleveland where he could sleepwalk into the finals. You got a team that you got to work for, and it's going to be hard for Chauncey to do that. And that roster is a good roster, but it's not defensively. I just don't think they can do enough. That's my take.
But he's saying, just reading online about his comments after Team USA practice that they had, that he's speaking like he's all in on the Portland. He said, "Listen, I haven't asked for a trade. That's not what we're about. We're a very, very good team." But the telling quote, I think, is he says, "I just think we've reached that point where it's like, okay, it's not enough. Do we actually want to win it all? Is that what we're shooting for?" And in that, I think he's basically sending the message to say, well, I'm all in. And his contract he's still got another 2 or 3 years, to go. And that kind of annoys me. And I think that reading these comments after this practice session, that he's saying the right things. He's saying, I want to be in Portland. I want to be out of here, but I want to see some changes.
Open the checkbook.
Just go out there and show us that you're fair income about trying to win a championship. We just don't want to be good. And like you were saying, Pro, they're going to be good enough to be thereabouts. They'll probably make the playoffs, even with a new coach and sort of being in that mark. But how much further can they go? And when you're a superstar, and these days, more of them care more about their legacy than the money, and then the legacy is a big issue. And for him, he might be getting to that point to think, well, in this market where I'm at, am I ever going to be spoken about in the same types of tones of some of these other superstars? So maybe that starts to kick in at a point of career he's at. But certainly publicly, he's saying the right things.
Oh, Gaze, he said he's all in, huh?
Well, I don't know about he's all in. Maybe all in might be a bit too extreme, but he's all in.
No, he said he's all in, right? Yeah, because I told my wife I wasn't going to fucking physically raid the Oreo jar last night, and that shit went the other way too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, true, it might be, but at least publicly, because it annoys me. It really annoys me when you got these guys on, and I know money's not the only factor, but when they're getting so well paid, but yet want to take
not all in.
an easier option. Say, well, no, I don't want to work with this organisation. Maybe they
right.
and they just go out there and will do silly things and say silly things just to guarantee that they have to be traded.
Like James Harden. Just
that type of stuff.
80s way out of Houston.
Yeah, I might show up to practice, maybe not. That type of stuff. Yeah. That really annoys me that it gets to that point. And of course, winning a championship is the goal of them all, but I think you can hurt your legacy by some of the behaviour you have, as well as just winning championships.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. This is as a former player. The player empowerment's gone too far towards the player.
Wow.
I think it needs. Yeah. I think the David Stern era was iron fist, like team empowerment, owner empowerment.
Yeah.
We're going the other side now, and we're seeing the ramifications of that. I think fans are, at an all-time leave level from the NBA watching the game. There's a number of factors, but players changing teams, players making a big 3, big 4, players not wanting to play in small markets, players then quitting on teams and just leaving. I think it hurts the game, and I think the empowerment thing needs to be a good balance where, you got to give a little bit to the player, but they got to give some back as well. And like you said, if you're signing that max extension with your team and then a year in you're complaining about something, don't sign the max extension.
But isn't your legacy going to be a far greater? Now, of course, you can't look ahead and understand what happens with the team, but if you're into the organisation, you're a superstar, they reward you because of what you've been able to do with the money that you only get. To see that through and bring a championship or two to an organisation I think has greater value than winning an extra
as a big three,
1 or 2 championships if you keep shopping yourself around and going.
That's why I love Giannis
all over the place. Correct.
I love what he's done, and I think it'd be such a great story for the league, and hopefully it sets an example for more superstars. Sign your max with your small market. You've won a chip. He's going to own that city.
Correct.
And I think it's just a great story. Some real quick ones I'm just going to go through. Tell me which ones intrigue you guys. I'm going to go through them all real quick. So I've got, obviously, 76ers open up Ben Simmons trades. No talks, no shit. Lakers seeking, get this, difference-making playmaker to unlock small ball lineups. We've also got Mavs, Heat, Spurs, Wolves interested in John Collins. Cavs, Pacers, Wolves, Kings, Raptors interested in trading for Ben Simmons. Pelicans plan to hire Willie Green. That's done. Pelicans unlikely to match if Lonzo Ball signs a big offer sheet somewhere else. Knicks most aggressive in Colin Sexton trade talks. Rockets aggressively trying to trade up with the Pistons to number 1. That's an interesting one. And then the Nets, Lakers, and Warriors are up there again, have been given the best 2022 NBA Finals odds. That's interesting because none of those teams were even there at the end, So which ones intrigue you there, Drew?
Well, I'm interested to see what happens with Lonzo Ball. He's one that's in an organisation you think that they made those trades, they got him on side, a young guy who... He's one of those guys he did something I didn't think was possible. He changed his shooting.
Completely changed it.
And he's now a really good... reliable 3-point threat. To me, when you look at him and the mystique that was around him, probably because of dad and the whole family thing when he first came into the league, but where he's come to, what I saw of him this last season, that he made significant strides forward. And where do you go if he's no longer there and you're moving on? Okay, you might get something back for him, but are you getting? How good do you need to be in order to?
Bledsoe there still.
Correct, but when you look at what he brings and how he's improved his shot and his willingness to look at himself and say, I need to make change and that type of player, I don't know, it just seems like his stocks aren't as high as what I think they are.
And I played with him in LA for half a season that I was there, and he gets a bad rap. He's a great kid.
Yeah,
he's kind of quiet. He has a good sense of humor, but he wants to put his dad aside in the LeVar Ball show and the BBB, Big Baller Brand. He loves basketball.
Yeah.
That was what I was most shocked about playing with him. He actually loves the game, and he's a very high IQ player, and I think he'd be a valuable commodity on a lot of teams, bro.
Yeah, I agree. He's gotten better for sure. I was very high on his passing early on. I thought he was one of the best passers in the draft. I thought he was one of the 5 or 6 best passers in the league. I'm not saying the best point guard in the league, but I thought his vision was the thing that really set him apart. The shooting was a problem. He's semi-fixed that. He's on the upswing on that. The only thing you want to stay away from, though, especially when these teams play these games in free agency, when they want to mess with you because the kid's going to be a restricted free agent, and you throw money at him, and then you have to see if you want to match or not. That's going to be the biggest, the biggest tell here. What do you do with that? Do you match? Do you not? Somebody's going to offer him 8 to, like, the Knicks have money, right? The Mavericks are going to have money. Now, I think the Mavericks will use all their money in Hardaway Jr., but like if someone throws $15, $18 million at Lonzo Ball, what do? And you don't want to mess your cap up going forward, especially if you don't like the kid as far as his game. I like Ball. I think he's a good player. There is a number on every player, though, that you can't really you can't really cross that like Mendoza line on it. That's the only thing I'd worry about. I've heard the opposite, Bogues. You played with him, so a couple other guys that I knew that know him said he wasn't really into watching film, but he's a young kid. These young kids, they don't know anything about being a pro when they become a pro. They think about pros making money. It's not about getting there early, staying late, watching film, getting critiqued, taking care of your body, all that. He's gotten better with that and he's matured with that. I would sign him if I'm them. They got some good young players. I would go forward with him. I think, Bledsoe's a good player, but he's not a point guard. He's a non-shooting, attacking 2 that can guard, that can defend a little
guard.
bit.
Remember they used to have the off guard position back in the day? He's off guard.
An off guard. Yeah, he's off guard, all right. But but there is a number that I wouldn't go over. But like I would want to sign him, but you never know. There's so many they flip the lid on all these fucking rumors. Oh, they won't match. No, they'll pay $20 million. No, they think he's a minimum player. No, they love him. No, they hate him. He's going to play in China next year. It goes from one extreme to another. So I don't really pay attention to the noise, but I like the kid. But there is a number I wouldn't go over.
And it could be posturing from his agent too, and that could be posturing from the Pelicans. They've leaked that to say, hey, if you come to us with some bullshit offer sheet, trying to get his value down. So you got to read between the lines there. Anything else on that list, guys?
What do you think, Gage? What do you got, bud?
No, you go ahead, bro. I'm hogging it.
Fuck, shit. Me and Hog go hand in hand. The John Collins thing is pretty interesting. What they're going to do, what Atlanta's going to do with him. Teams are going to have to give up significant things. People think he's a max player. I don't think John Collins is a max player. I think he's a good player. But I think when you get in trouble is when you pay guys like that $30 million a year. When I think he's a good, he's a good probably $20 to $25 million guy. But when you start paying $30, $35 million for a player like that, where I don't think he could be a feature, but I think he could be he's a good he's a good role player, a high level role player to Trae Young and that team. I just don't think he's one of those guys you like Milwaukee, so to speak, right? You got Giannis, and then you got Middleton making a shitload of money. But as you can see in the playoffs, you could just give it to Middleton, get out of the way, and he can make a play. Collins is good on rolls. He's good in transition. He can make an open shot. But when you need to flatten everything out, give him the ball and say, hey, Trae, they're doubling Trae. Trae can't make a play today. We need you to step up. I don't know if he could really do that consistently and be that guy. What do you guys think about Collins and what you've seen out of him?
Yeah, it's the intrigue of the talent that's going to probably have someone overpay him. I agree with you, Pro. I don't think he's a max guy that you're paying to be your number one guy. He's probably at best 2 to 3 on most rosters. Some rosters maybe 4. But it'll be the intrigue of can he got a lot better to me in that playoffs too. I think he got a little bit better. He showed a little bit more. He showed a nice little post game when they actually went to him, a turn face jumper and gone by guys. But he's not there yet. No, I agree with that. And I think it'll be a team like making it up, a small market team, a Detroit or someone like that. That'll be like, let's throw some cash at this guy and make that gamble that in 2 years he is that guy, and then we don't have to go out and find one. So that's how I see.
Jeez, he was very impressive. I didn't see a lot of Atlanta throughout the course of the season, but of course during the playoffs, they were front and center, and he was impressive. He knocked down the 3 ball better than I thought. He could really shoot it, catch and shoot it, and was aggressive down low. Supreme athlete, and still got as you say, but I think he's still got a lot of upside. So it's the economics of it all, I don't know. But as far as a player, he's better than a good player. I think he's a very good player. Yeah. Maybe not an elite player, but a very, very good player. And it just comes down to the economics of certain teams and the fit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You might see a team overpay him, and we're saying it's overpaid today, but in 2 years it might be a good contract. Real quick, we don't have to discuss this too much, but Kawhi Leonard confirmed that he had a partially torn ACL, so obviously we knew something was going on. I mean, I caught it on the podcast. Once I saw that he was sitting in the crowd and not on the bench during games.
Crazy, man.
You knew something was up, and you just hate to see that. And for a guy they call the robot, even he gets injuries. So, and is it the same knee pro, that he had in the issue with his quad and everything in San Antonio? I'm not sure.
Don't quote me on it. I think it's the other one. To be honest, I think it's the other knee. I don't think it's the same one, but I could be wrong on that. I do not know.
Well, wishes to him. We'll move on from that. I found some real interesting comments randomly on Hoops Hype here. Credit Hoops Hype with this from Ryan Anderson. When he was with the Houston Rockets, he infamously was, second round pick, and then signed a big contract, right? So I'll read through all this. I just thought it just intrigued me. Ryan Anderson says he was unfairly criticized by Rockets fans when he played 2 seasons in Houston under a big free agent contract. It was a new thing for me because I'd sort of always been the underdog, overachieving, and now I was the overpaid guy who was underachieving, right? He says it's a tough thing to do. He played with James Harden, remember? It's a tough thing to do when you're getting 0 credit, especially when you're making a lot of money and you're getting 2 shots with 2 seconds left on the shot clock and you miss them and you're 0 for 2 from 3 and everyone says I suck. He goes on then to say, it's the greatest part about not being in the NBA right now because I can just unload on how much that pisses me off. People don't want to hear it. I made a lot of money. I've lived a great life. I'm so blessed. I love it. But the game's not fun when you have to just stand there and you're not involved at all. You want to be involved. You want to be part of the game. And then went on to say, I'm not a good defender either, so I'd always have to switch on Steph Curry and he'd make buckets on me and then I'm the idiot. I think, look, he has a point to an extent because when he signed his deal, it was kind of the James Harden transition period and he was a real valuable player for him back with the Parsons and all those guys back then. And Houston just went so dribble ISO heavy with Harden that it was like he'd shoot 15 out of 16 trips and then it was like swing because I'm doubled. Ryan Anderson opening the corner. Oh, this is what the ball feels like. You better make that fucking shot. You better make that shot. And Ryan Anderson fell victim to it. And you could see once it started to gain momentum in the media, the fans, he was almost shaking when he was catching the ball at times. And it's a hard way to play, Drewy. When you're not involved in an offense and then it's a big possession late and you got to make that shot, you overthink it, you probably overshoot it.
It is, but when they signed him, they knew that he knew what he was getting himself into. It was one that you look at and you just got to make the shot. That's the way they're playing. You're standing around. We're going to penetrate. If there's help, you catch and shoot. And a real ugly way to play. And aesthetically, that time when Harden was at Houston, I can't tell you the respect I have for Harden's skill, but was, for me, almost unwatchable. I did not watch. You go on a league pass, I was never clicking onto a Rockets game because it was just really tough to watch. Now, on the flip side of that, when I see him now with Brooklyn, I actually don't mind. I think
at least he's moving it.
He's moving it. He's distributing the ball, and whether and you always go back and think, well, is it the singer or the song? When he was at Houston, was it him or was it the system? And with D'Antoni, the way they wanted to play, and those around him, that was going to be their job. And Anderson probably picked up that contract because he has a spell where he shows a skill. Yep. And then, I don't want to be critical.
Bit of sour milk.
Well, if you're not making the shot, that's your job. Now, you can come up with all the excuses in the world, shot clock, not enough touches, and they are all valid. Yeah. But it's no surprise what they were doing. It wasn't like this snuck up on him, the style of play that they were doing. This is the way they chose to play.
It's a shitty way to play, I'll agree with him. But
correct.
You're right. He was paid to be that third, fourth fiddle when James is double to make a three, pro. What do you have?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of respect for Ryan Anderson as a player. I liked him coming out of the draft when he played for Cal, and it took him a little bit, to sort of find his way. Daryl Morey wanted to play a certain way in Houston. He wanted to play with, and that at that time, I think they were sort of getting rid of the two bigs deal and throughout the league. So he wanted to create more space, for Harden and those guys, and they wanted to put a stretch four out there instead of obviously a real power forward. And, James Harden, to me, when he was in Oklahoma City, I remember working out Kevin Durant. I don't want to be a Jay Will and get killed on social media by KD. So please, KD, don't go after me. But I remember working him out at his camp and talking to him about it. I always thought that James Harden, when he was in Oklahoma City, should have been their real point guard. Because vision-wise, the guy has unbelievable vision. He has unbelievable feel for the game for passing the ball. Now, he came off the bench. He had a different role. But I thought Westbrook should have played that Dwayne Wade role and be off the ball and have Harden on the ball and be a point guard because he could find people and get in the lane. He could make a play. But I think now when he had all these other pieces that he had to sort of facilitate to, and he was coming off the bench. Now he comes to Houston, and they just basically give him everything. They're like, look, you're gonna be Bugs Bunny. You're gonna be playing first base, second base, third base, catcher. You're gonna be playing everything. You do whatever you want, and they're just gonna build everything around him. And that's just how we wanted to play. And yeah, it was an ugly as shit way to play. And although he put up these huge numbers, it is tough to play with him, but. Like they say in Goodfellas, you can't pay your bills, fuck you, pay me. You can't, oh, sorry, your grandmother died, fuck you, pay me. Nobody cares. They gave him $60 million. Nobody gives a fuck if you get the ball with 20 on the shot clock, with 2 on the shot clock. Yes, it's ugly as shit, but they weren't begging you to sign that contract. You signed a $60 million deal. It is what it is. It sucks. You're in a bad spot. But yes, it is tough to play that way. But again, nobody gives a fuck. You just got to deal with it, and it is what it is. I think he was a hell of a player. He had a hell of a skill. He could stretch the floor, and he could put the ball on the floor a little bit when guys closed out on him and ran him off the line. He could do some things. But yeah, it's a tough way to play, but tough fucking shit. Like, what are you going to do? That's the way to go.
Yeah. And James Harden has had some double-digit assist games this past season with
Huge.
Brooklyn. Yeah, where he was really moving it. And I think Pro makes a valid point. Maybe that OKC era, you put him at the 1 and move Russ off the ball, which I think everyone wanted at that period. KD at the 3-4, but then maybe a scoring punch, coaching change, who knows. But moving on, we've got Uncle here, so it'd be remiss for us not to mention Josh Giddey, has got a green room invite to the NBA draft. So that generally means, let's not put the hoodoo on him. Don't say anything, Pro. Don't jinx him. But generally means you're going somewhere in the top 10.
Gaze, what do you see? Because you obviously were over there. You watched him more than we did. What did you think of him truly as a player in that league in his year this year?
Oh, he was exceptional, and I'm biased because I've known the kid since he was born. I started working him when he was 9 or 10, coached him the under 12s, under 14s, and under 16s, and a bit of time in the under 18s. So right throughout his junior period, and
played with his old man. Don't forget,
played with his dad, who was a super, and his mum was a really good player as well. So he's got great genetics, and his basketball IQ is the standout. His size, 6'8", sees the floor. Elite passing ability, but his ability to play 2 or 3 passes ahead, know where they're going to be, and his shot has been a little maligned, but his shot is not bad. The fundamentals are all there. Yeah, you can look at some things, and just recently, before he went over there, we were working at it, and it's funny, you see little quirks in people's shots, and you try and help him out through that. He's got a couple of little things, but nothing that you should be of concern. And you saw that in the game the other day against Nigeria, where he came down and the confidence that he
looked really good.
Just the stroke, it was fluent. If you notice, one of the things we were working on, and I'd never heard this before, and maybe this is the new school, because he'd had this little hitch in his shot. And we were working on this little hitch, and I'm like, you always seem, sometimes you pause, and his fingers, I noticed his fingers were moving. And I was working on him, and he said he felt more confident and comfortable when he had his 3-finger, shooting hand on the seam. And he was trying to adjust and make these adjustments when he'd go up to shoot.
As he's catching the
As
ball.
He goes up, he gets it into you get to your shot pocket, get to the set, and he's got this little, it's only a small little thing. And it's one of those ones is I'm trying to advise him, and you know what? I left it alone. I said, well, if trying to change
it's hard.
It's very hard because the rest of the shot is right there. But I think that he has got huge upsides because he falls into a category that is really small. There's not many players that have his skill sets at 6'8", 6'9". He's kind of like a Luka Doncic in, and I mean, I know that's a stretch. You're talking about one of the greatest players in the world right now, but those skill sets, I think that he can do it more probably with the pass and with the shot than what Luka does, but that type of impact he ultimately could have, and that's the potential in him. So since the start of last season and what he was able to do in the NBL, and as Bogues' mate used to say, this ain't no cupcake league in the NBL.
That's your mate.
It's our mate.
Commentary partner.
He's a good man. So he's up against real men with real challenges and strategically in a league where you're scouted to within an inch of your life. So everyone knows what they're trying to do and take it away. And he showed that he could handle that pressure and still deliver. So I think that he is going to be a really high prospect. They're talking somewhere between 7 and...
Well, Golden State have 7, so...
And they've had a really,
talk. And they
really
like
good...
him. I've had some talks with them. They like him, so he's definitely in the mix there.
Well, they say they've got 7 and 14, and my understanding, whether I read it somewhere or someone told me, they believe that if they don't take him at 7, he won't be available at 14. Mm-hmm. So there's some really... high expectations on where he's going to be, such as why he's been invited to that green room. But for his sake, I hope he gets with the right program because...
That's the other thing.
That can hurt
Timing.
You as well.
Yeah. Bro, what are you hearing? Where are you hearing position-wise? You hearing anything over there?
I'm hearing that he'll probably won't get out of the top 10. Probably later 10, 8, 9, 10, maybe a little before that, but probably right in that slot. But I'm with Gaze on what he said. I think it all depends on where he goes, not everybody gets caught up on what spot you get drafted at. Your agents get caught up in it and you get caught up in it. I think it's where you go, your program. Can you play minutes? Is your head coach going to actually like playing young players? Do they have a good development program? Are they going to continue to work with you? Those types of things. You don't want to go to a place where, the coach is wrong for you or you're not going to play a lot. It's interesting. Like Bogues, if he goes to Golden State, right? Do you play him right away? You can't play him right away. But I mean, obviously him in the lineup with Curry, being able to get Curry off the ball and play certain situations. You could post him up. You could do some things. It's interesting.
You could play him in the Iguodala kind of role to an extent off the bench early on, maybe. If you started him, you could then drag him early and then bring someone else in, then bring him back again later on in the quarter. But I think defensively you could, with his size, Golden State system, the 1 through 5 switching with Draymond at the 5, he'd be a valuable commodity with his length. He needs to improve his defense a little bit, which we all know, but I think he's 18. He probably hasn't been knuckled down and taught the pro way of defending, so that'll take some time. But yeah, that'll be the interesting one. And I think he can play off the ball. From the games I saw, he knows how to cut, he knows how to move away from it, pro.
He could be Sean Livingston, in my opinion. He could play that type, big guard who could pass. I worked with Sean right after he got drafted with Tim Grover in the summertime, and I love Sean. If Sean didn't get hurt, Boston was very close to trading for him, early on in his career, and I thought he was gonna, before he got hurt and that horrific knee injury, he just had great vision, great kid. He could do a lot of things. He put his career back on track after a few years of, working back in. But that's what I see him as, like a Sean Livingston type. Now, when you say Sean Livingston, he was a little limited even when he played with you guys, helping you win multiple championships. But I think he could be that type of player before Sean got hurt. And I think
before he got hurt, yeah.
Yeah, before he got hurt.
The thing about Giddey right now, yes, he can play off the ball and he cuts well, he reads the game, he does all those things, but he's at his best with the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
And if you're going to get the best out of him right now for where he's at, and you saw that even in the Nigeria game. I think in that Nigeria game you saw that defensively, he understood the concepts. He understood where he went. When he had to double, he doubled. When he had to keep someone in front of him, he could keep someone in front of him. And conceptually, you could see on the weak side, he knew where he was going. When he had to guard 2, he guarded 2. So he could do all those things. But offensively, he was much more comfortable when he's got the ball and he's got an assignment. Couple of times on ball, but purely on ball was to get some post up, some really good post entry passes. He had a turnover in one of them, but creating off the dribble and having others move around him right now is where he's at his best. And I think in that whatever system he goes to, if you're just going to play him more off the ball, then I think you're not necessarily using his assets.
It's more predicated towards if he goes to Golden State specifically, because you're not taking the ball out of Steph's hands for long periods. So that's kind of the where we're kind of lining that up. If he goes to a team like that, then he's gonna have to play spells off the ball to fit in.
Absolutely.
We asked him that when we had him on the pod, and he said he was happy to do it if that was what was asked of him. Early on in his career, obviously, building into his stock and getting himself better and better. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it all comes down to what Pro said. Sometimes it's better to go 14 than 10 if it's going to the right situation. And I think it's going to be, hopefully he can get to a system where, similar to what Lonzo Ball was with the Lakers his rookie year, or where they just give him the ball and they're like, go and play, young fella, play through mistakes, learn on the fly. Hopefully it's one of those systems. If it's a team that's half in the playoffs that is like, oh, he's not ready yet, that's what you kind of don't want to see. I'd rather him go to a lower 10 team.
Well, the teams that just again through online, and I know I'm close to him, but I have not spoken to him at all, so it's nothing other than that. But from what you read, Raptors, Indiana are two that are really, really high on him. As long as
Carlo.
Have I hit a nerve here? I said something wrong.
Pro's former boss.
No, we're good. We're good.
But they're and where they are in their cycles and their personnel, I'm not so sure. But when you think of the Raptors,
they'll move on. They'll move off Lowry. I think
that's what I'm saying.
So,
if Lowry's at the end of his tether, then there seems to be a transition that looks pretty good when you think of get his skill sets.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. But he is in the draft green room, which is the first step to getting there. So another interesting thing I saw, Jared Dudley had some comments which I found were really truthful and insightful. First off, there was a post that said multiple players from Jason Tatum to Bradley Beal have been staring down the officials following no calls as they're accustomed to receiving touch fouls or star treatment officiating in the NBA. Of course, FIBA refereeing is much different. So Jared Dudley.
When you say different, you mean they actually apply the rules?
Yeah,
essentially, no superstar calls, no antics.
Correct.
So this is really messed with the NBA players' psyche. Right? But anyway, a guy named Johnny Ledesma. FIBA rules are perfect. Less time, less reviews, more physical. Start a game and get it over with in 2 hours or less. If only the National Basketball Association could get a clue. Jared Dudley, reply, couldn't agree more. NBA should adopt some of these rules. Players are manipulating these rules way too much. I tell refs all the time, don't call it, even if it is officially a foul. Players will get mad, then adjust. Refs, listen to the league. Has to start from the top. He's bang on. He's bang on.
Bogues, we saw it in the last game that everything bad about the way with which the game, the style of play, with that clear, blatant foul on Booker. Now, if that's any other player, any other player in the competition, that is a foul 99 times out of 100 for everyone else. But because of the nature of the game, they know he's got 5 fouls and the theatre of the NBA. And I think I agree with, I forget who it was.
Jared Dudley.
FIBA, there's a lot of things with the FIBA rules, but if you brought jump balls back into FIBA rules, I think that the way in which the unsportsmanlike foul, when it's officiated correctly.
In international, it's way better than Australia. We struggle with it.
Because they apply common sense.
Exactly.
They apply common sense in the FIBA. Whereas they take a more black and white view here in Australia to try and make it easier. But it actually it makes it
harder,
less of a spectacle when you can still apply some level of common sense. So that rule there to stop the breakaway, because that's part of the game we love to see. And the NBA, that once the ball hits the rim, let them tip it off. Yeah. You're going to see these hellacious dunks coming. There's other advantages to it. If we could find the best bits of the FIBA, throw it into the NBA, and then you've got I think the best game. But it all starts with the style of play and the judgments and the instructions the officials are given on how you're going to officiate the game, because some NBA games, oh my glory field, it is just ridiculous.
Especially when the offensive players blatantly seeking contact, like Chris Paul's notorious of dribbling the ball up. There's a big running down the center trying to get back, and he'll dribble in their line and then just fall over, and you're like, don't reward that. If you don't reward it once or twice and just turnover or offensive foul, it's going to stop happening. And FIBA, the one thing I like that they do, the leg kick out on 3-pointers.
Yes.
So in 19, Patty Mills I didn't know what happened because I didn't even know it was a rule.
Yes.
The ref came and stuck one up Patty one game and is like, you do that again, I'm going to give you a intentional foul.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to give you intentional. And I'm like, what's he talking about? He goes, my leg kick on the 3.
Yeah.
Because, you try to draw a foul, you kick your legs out. They actually give you an intentional in FIBA at times.
Correct.
Which is, it stamps it out straight away. Patty stopped doing it, had a bit of a giggle and was like, all right, you got me. But I think Jared Dudley's spot on, Pro. What do you think?
I really enjoy the FIBA game. I really enjoy the way they referee it. I enjoy the style of play. I think the NBA is too much. I think this is why a lot of the consumers hate the fucking NBA, because they allow NBA players 1 through 15 to stare down referees, to fucking embarrass them. And nobody has the fucking balls to tee them up and say, you know what, enough's enough. You're fucking up the product of the NBA because you bitch and complain. It's blatant, arm swinging, clapping their hands in the ref's face, and they don't have the nuts to fucking tee him up. And I think they got to set a precedent at that. That's first up. I like the fact that they allow some hand checking and some physicality at the point of drive. I do like that in FIBA, where the NBA players are struggling with that because they're used to all those hand checks that they get in the NBA, where you can't touch them at all going towards the basket. I really enjoy that. The thing about FIBA that I don't like is the same side drive travel, but they let you cross step and do the same fucking thing going. Like for a righty, if you got to put the ball on the floor before you go. Yeah. I like the NBA where you could step and dribble at the same time and have that advantage. It's not even an advantage because Like I was over in Greece last week doing a clinic, and I did a clinic in Italy like 10 years ago. And I did, I'm teaching going strong side, and everybody's looking at me like I'm fucking, like I just made fun of their family. Like, you just spent 3 hours teaching guys how to fucking travel. I'm like, give me a fucking break, because I'm trying to explain. I'm like, look, I get it, but nobody can explain to me why it's a travel. So I said, you literally take the same step going cross step, and you don't call that. But yet you need the fucking ball on the floor going strong side. That's the only FIBA rule that I don't like. But I love how the FIBA game's played. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy watching the U.S. team sometime look at the referees like they ate a fucking snow cone too fast when they didn't get the call they used to getting during the season. So I do enjoy that part of it. And I think they're going to really struggle with that, especially because they're not overflowing with talent on their roster, where they don't get the LeBron James and they don't have all those, juggernaut talent guys that are in the top 10, but they have those guys that are like Jason Tatum that are sprinkled down, and, Zach LaVine and stuff. And I think guys like that who take a lot of bad shots and aren't as tough as some of those other guys, I think they're going to really struggle with that in the medal rounds with teams, especially like Australia. But I think it's really interesting. I do agree with Dudley's comments. I think that they should adopt some of the rules. But the number one thing is they got to stop this fucking letting these players show up the referees and stop and flail their arms and shit when they get in foul. I don't like that.
Hey, just on that, bro. I don't know. It's me, but over the last couple of seasons, the carry on and what we would call flopping, like guys are going to the basket and throwing their head back and dislocating their L2 and L3 and just really causing some problems. And then you see the replay and, they're down and you think their career is over. And they bounce back. Now, it seems to be because of their desire to get those calls, and particularly stars get it. Seems to me the last couple of seasons that is becoming it's rampant. It's painful to watch. The flopping and I've just been grazed on the back of the back of the head, and I'm going down like I've
rolling around.
Yeah.
I always told my teammates, if I don't get up, if I've gone down and I don't get up, I'm not getting up.
No,
because I always try. Even when I broke my leg in Cleveland, I try to get up and run on it just to see how bad it was.
Yeah.
And then realized it was broken and almost went down again. But it's just too much. And then they get the whistle, and then we got to do the stoppage, the medical timeout, and everyone's like, "Oh, we hope he's okay." They come back from the commercial, and the guy just does a windmill, and you're like
"Is my observation?"
No, you're correct.
Are they out of line or 100%. Something? And we've tried to stop it internationally with the flop, that if it's on a drive or if you exaggerate something, the officials will come in and give you a warning, it's a flop, and the next one's a tee.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think I don't know what you do. I don't know if you increase it with fines and suspensions after a certain amount of flops, because I don't like to see TJ McConnell brush fucking LeBron James and he looked like he got shot. Sure. I have the same reaction when I get to eat fucking broccoli. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm gonna die too if I have to eat anything green on my plate. But it's the same thing. You don't want to see that shit. The flopping's just.
Remember the play back in the day? I think it was Melo. I think it was the Nuggets at the time, or maybe the Knicks. Might have been the Knicks. And he went down. He actually ended up having concussion, but he was flailing around a lot in the game, and he went down one possession around the free throw line, and the refs refused to stop the game. And there was 2 trips up and back, and he's lying at the free throw line, and they're just like, "Nah, we're not."
Play on.
That's what it might need to come to. Just we're just going to play on, man. We're just going to play on, and or there's some penalty if the stretcher doesn't come out and you're out of the game. It's a technical foul if you're back on the court running around like normal possession later.
I think it's like technicals. I think after your 12th or whatever, you start getting suspended. I think they should give you after your fifth one that you flop, that they don't get the call and then they get the video. I think after your 5th or your 7th or your 10th, whatever, you start missing games. And that's the only way it's going to clean up.
Well, what happened to the flopping rule? No, remember the flopping rule the NBA introduced, and they were finding the shit out of people the first couple of years. That's kind of gone quiet. kind of gone quiet the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, no question about it. LeBron James, they're going to get a flopping call, and they're going to call that. But but if you're if you're Taco Fall, you're going to get fucked. Like you're the best player. You know how it is. Like if UCLA fucking cheats, Eastern Kentucky's going to get fucking put on probation. It's the same thing. It's crazy. So that's what I'm saying.
So that leads us into the Olympics. The Australian Boomers, great, probably the best pre-tournament games you could have.
Yep.
A lot of momentum, played really well against Argentina. Was a bit shaky early. I felt we were a bit too iso ball at times, but the next game against the US, they cleaned that up perfectly. Yep. They've gone a bit more to the high post now. A bit of variation from just your pick and rolls and your drags. 3-0, then they go and beat Nigeria. Obviously, the COVID issue with Beal. Beal's now out of Team USA. There was a scare there for a while. I hear that the Boomers are all good. No one's contracted it from Team USA. Fill-ins are coming in. The rumors are who are the fill-ins? There were rumors it was Robinson, Beal, Robinson, and Harris, and now I've just read JaVale McGee and someone else. Pro.
Yeah, it's going to be Johnson from Kendall Johnson from San Antonio.
He's already on the. He's
already on the roster. Is
with
it
them.
Calvin Johnson? Isn't it, Pro?
Keldon Johnson. I'm sorry. Yes, and he's going. Those guys. He's in, and JaVale McGee's. But he wasn't on the roster. He was on the
15. He was in the 15. Okay. Yeah. So,
but now I hear that Holiday's going to come, Booker's going to come, and Middleton's going to come.
Wow. They were always in there though. They were
NBA
just,
finals. Yeah, that would be interesting. Enjoy that championship.
That would be huge for them.
Yeah, it'd still be interesting because you've got a lot of ball stoppers on that team. Regardless, that's what is interesting about, and just interesting that Pop's coaching a team with ball stoppers. That's what I've found intriguing because Pop wants to move that thing. And, you've got the best player in the world in KD where, this is the funny thing about KD is like you can run all this false action, but why not just dribble down and get it to him in that spot with 20 on the shot clock instead of 12?
Correct. And it was interesting because in that game against Australia, and I'm watching USA and seeing the way they go about it, and they had a couple of sets. Now, they weren't highly complicated. One, a little up screen for a cut down to the post up, but it was almost like, oh, here we go. We've got to run. It wasn't run or executed in any way how you would want it to resemble or how you're going to be effective in those cuts. And clearly it was unproductive. Just coming down, iso ball one-on-one, you got some superstars and jacking up threes. But in the international game where that line's a little closer, it helps a lot of the other teams because, you're going to be more efficient. And I think that when these guys are being defended – and the lanes aren't there because if you're going to be driving into traffic, albeit that it's elite driving into traffic, it takes a different complexion. Not as many shots, less margin for error, and they got exposed. And I think in that game that they won, now whether it was the opponents or whether it was just because there's a realization that it's not going to get done, the cutting action against Argentina in that game and the ball movement and the way they were able to execute clearly was different to what it was against Australia and Nigeria. So hopefully, for their sake, they're learning that lesson that just coming down, and no matter how good you are, coming down and just jacking up a three and trying to shoot your way out of these other teams are really good defenders. They've got great skill themselves, and they strategically can come up with ways to nullify some of those strengths of Team USA. So it's no certainty, and regardless of what happens between now and the game one of the Olympics, they have shown that there's no certainty that all they need to do is show up. They don't have that much talent. They have a lot uber elite talent. They have got more talent than anyone else in the competition, but not enough where they can just show up, roll the balls out, and wish you all the very best, and you're going to win. They do have to have some form of system and process in order to get those guys going, rather than just hoping and randomly having it happen.
That's the fun of FIBA. That's what's fun about it. It's a real team kind of, a top scorer for a game might be 12 points at times in FIBA basketball. Like for the Australian Boomers, and I had this conversation with Jock is you're going to have games where you
correct.
You got 2 and 5, and you're going to have games where you got 15 and 5. That's just the way it is. It's ebbs and flows of the game, and I think that's the hardest thing to understand for a lot of the Team USA guys. But the talent will get them close. It's just a matter of whether they can probably, be okay with having a game where I'm not getting my touches. But when you have a guy like Dame Lillard who's used to shooting the ball 40 times, coming across and shooting the half-court bombs in 15 seconds left on the shot clock, that's a harder shot for him to make because he's not getting 40 of them now. He's only getting 3 or 4 opportunities.
Well, Middleton, look at Middleton in that game that we saw, game 4, has 30 shots or thereabouts. He now goes into Team USA where he's having 5 shots, and you know what? He might miss 3 or 4 of them. And he's only had 5 shots, and then he picks up the paper, Middleton sucks, he can't score, doesn't translate, and then he goes out and thinks he's got it, and he's not the man. So unless they accept what you're talking about, Bogues, unless they understand that is completely different role that you have to play, and you can't have 12 guys that are used to getting those 20 to 30 shots, wanting those 20 to 30 shots, or else you're cooked.
I think they're going to have a hard time, because they don't have a lot of time to figure this out. And it's like, that's how they're programmed to play. Like, like Gaze said, like, they don't have this great talent. Before Bill got sent home with the COVID stuff, they had 3 franchise players. They had him. Before Booker and Middleton came, whatever, they've had Beal. They have Beal. They have Lillard, and they have KD. Those are the 3 guys. And then everyone else, like, look, Tatum's a bad shot taker. We all know that. LaVine, bad shot taker. Not really like a pass guy, not really a physical player that, like, you need to be at the wing position in FIBA to be effective. Grant, Jeremy Grant sort of like, he's a good player, but not really great. Draymond's not a non-offensive, non-shooter. It's a weird mix.
Bam struggled as well. Yeah. He's struggled in these couple of games. He hasn't looked.
The thing about what I see, if I put myself into Pop's shoes, and you got those 3 guys coming in that's going to have almost 0 practice sessions before your first game. So you're coming in, and what formula you need to do, there is no excuse. Given the athleticism that they have, there is no excuse why they shouldn't be picking teams up 90 feet.
That's what they used to do, though.
And just being the most annoying team and using their height, their speed on the defensive end to just trying to blanket it. But what it requires is that these guys, you know what, the opponents, they're actually going to make a few passes. Yeah. They're actually going to run a few cuts. So you do have to get in a stance and fight over a screen on an off-the-ball screen, and you're going to have to do it 2 or 3 times rather than just pointing, switch, and you're going to have to just get down. And if you can convince them to do that, and they can play that just dogged defense, I don't think any of the teams that they're playing if can score enough to beat them, even if you had to do very little on the offensive end. But what we saw in those first couple of games was penetrate, no problems, get 2 feet in the paint, kick it out, and Nigeria knocked down 23s. Yeah. That's the only way. Now, if you take away some of that, don't let them get in their paint, sit down, don't, lock the ball up a little bit more, which they have the capabilities to do, then I can't see anyone beating them. But if they're just going to go through the motions, and they're going to try, but they're not going to be fiercely determined, then I think that anyone can beat them.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think they'll play their best basketball when, like, they got their backs against the wall and they know they're fucked. And they're like, you know what? We're desperate now. That's the only way it's gonna happen. I don't give a fuck how many slogans fucking Pop goes on the chalkboard. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. All that bullshit. Like, I don't give a fuck about the X's and O's. Like, that ain't gonna happen. This ain't fucking 1986. Guys aren't fucking like that anymore. Like, they're not gonna do that shit. They're gonna be fucking, they're just into their own world. That's just the player that you have today. So the only way that they're gonna fucking really start picking up 94 feet and doing the real things that they need to do is they're gonna have to get their punched in the face. And they're going to have to say, we're fucked right now because it's an embarrassment. It's back to the fucking Stephon Marbury, Larry Brown days where they got their ass handed to them in Greece. Like, it started coming back to that. Like, they need to be desperate. And that's when you're going to start seeing these guys play. But like I said, they don't have these great players. They got good players, great talent. Individually, they're the best team in the tournament. It's not even close. But these guys who play as a team, they're used to the FIBA rules. They're tougher. They understand it's going to be a more physical game. They pass the ball. They share the ball. They get in the paint. They make more efficient basketball plays. That I think that's the thing. So, It'll be interesting.
Yeah, but you even watch the Australian national team. We'll get to them shortly, but you just watch Dellavedova and the effort he brings in just picking up their opposing point guard the whole game.
Yes.
And you make a very, very valid point, Drewy, where Team USA, when we used to go into those games, it was like they're going to try to push us out all of our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to make us catch the ball at half court. And if, God forbid, we turn the ball over 2 or 3 straight possessions, it's getting dunked on our head. That's what you knew. You didn't even worry about their offensive sets. You were like, just do not turn the ball over. You got to work to get a catch. And that these last few campaigns for Team USA, like you said, it's just they just don't have that tenacity defensively, and that was their bread and butter. The Kobe Bryant days of 08 and 2012 and even before that, you were always so scared about just turning it over. They would generate 20 points from turnovers.
Yep.
They don't get that anymore, and now you're in the half-court grind against good half-court grind international teams. Trouble. But we'll move on from that. The Opals overnight, 6 hours ago, they just beat Team USA as well, Pro. I'm sorry about that, but we got your females as well. So we're dominating you over the last month. But great performance by the Opals. Ezzy was huge. Just a great, well-balanced.
16 down, I think it was at one stage. So they had to. It wasn't like it was handed to them. And the difference, and it's more complex than this, but they couldn't knock down a three. The USA, 2 of 18 or something, they just could not knock down the 3 ball, whereas Australia were pretty efficient at both ends of the floor. And it was encouraging because they've had our number a lot. The USA women, we've spoke it up, talked up like, hey, we can compete with them, but they've handed it to us quite regularly at Olympic campaigns, World Cup campaigns. So this was one that will do the confidence a world of good to know that despite some of the goings on, which Bogues, I'm sure you're keen to get into, despite some of the off-court issues with Lizzie, it seems like something like that may have galvanised the girls and it may have had an impact for the positive.
Yeah, I think it's huge for their psyche. But the elephant in the room is Liz Cambridge. Look, I understand she's got mental health issues. I think where the line is, I think she's had the mental health issues leading into camp. I'm not going to speak for her, but we wish her all the best. She's one of the best players in the world.
Undoubtedly.
So talking about this, people, I have a banterish back and forth relationship with her. I can separate my dislike for her. I don't hate her, don't like her. She'd probably say the same about me. I can separate that by saying she's a fantastic player. And that's a huge loss for us. And to galvanize the girls and get that win with an emotional win right now is good, but I think the long term it's going to hurt our girls.
Of course.
She's an MVP candidate in the WNBA, but the story around it is separating the mental health from the behaviors that you've had. And I don't think, I'm not saying she's using it as an excuse or whatever, but the rumors are pretty damning, and 2GB, James Willis, he was on the radio yesterday and basically said that Cambridge started breaking biosecurity rules with COVID, going out all night, ignoring team directions. But the one that broke the camel's back, in my opinion, and most people, is a closed-door scrimmage with the Nigerian team. Bit of a scuffle, punches thrown. That wasn't the issue. There was some, in James Willis's words, abuse of the Nigerians on court with words that I wouldn't dare repeat. And they were words that you would not dare repeat. And they were horrendous. Most people in the basketball community have probably heard by now. It's amazing that James Willis, 2GB, Sydney Rugby League reporter for the most part, has got this story. So that means it's it's everywhere. But that's the tough one. You just can't excuse those kind of behaviors, mental health or not. We want Liz to get well and get the help she needs. But what it does for the team is just not a good thing. And now, they only took 12, right? So they didn't take any emergencies. So now you're trying to figure out, shit, we gotta lobby the AOC to get us. Squads were announced a couple of weeks ago for that very reason. You got to announce all that early. Even the small things people don't think about. You got to fly someone from out of Australia now. Can they get out of Australia? Can they get into the country? Uniforms, all that stuff. So I wish Lizzie the best. I hope it all works out. But I don't excuse the behavior that, what most of us has heard. And I think, it just hurts the girls long term going into what should be a gold medal run, hopefully, or at least a silver medal run.
Well, it is. And I know James Willis, and he called me up on this, and he might have been the one that I think told me about it before it became public. And I think that the thing about it that I know Liz reasonably well. I knew her more when she was younger than more recently. But the thing that sticks out to me is that when you've got these mental health issues, that they can manifest themselves in a variety of different ways. And these, in an Olympic campaign, were clearly to a point where it was detrimental to the team, and one where I assume the team had to make the call. And
that's what I mean. It's noted that the girls on the team had basically lobbied for Basketball Australia to move on from Lizzie, and this was all being discussed 3 or 4 days ago.
Yep.
Where there's rumours that we're going to kick Lizzie off the team and send her home and not have her play. And then yesterday, that's where people have correlated. Well, I'm sure there is mental health issues, but at the same time, there are behaviours that have led to them wanting to kick you off the team, whereas now you've left because of mental issues. So people can.
I think the mental health issues is a reason for the unsavoury behaviour.
I think it is to an extent, but there is a line of there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people today that are struggling with mental health issues. It doesn't mean you walk down the street and you abuse somebody.
No, of course.
And I think that's what we can't excuse. That's where I'm trying to draw a line between the two. You've got your mental health issues. We understand it. Go and get your health and support. But that doesn't excuse you now for making the comments that I've heard off the record are absolutely
no. Of course, they're disgusting.
Disgusting. So that's where we got to draw the line, and it's a slippery slope because you don't want to be. I don't want to be in a position where I'm going after Lizzie, and it's like I'm not. I'm saying mental health's not a big issue. It's nothing of the sort. But there's two different situations here. There's a mental health issue, and then there's the behavioral issue, and we kind of have to separate them. Can they kind of coincide at times? Maybe, but I know a lot of people, and we all do, with mental health issues, especially right now. I think we've all gone through mental health issues.
Yeah.
What are we in Melbourne? Lockdown number 5 right now?
Yeah.
So I think everyone's gone through some stuff, but that never gives you an excuse to just go out there and make those kind of comments, in my opinion.
No, it's a blow. It's a real blow for the Opals because, as you mentioned right from the start, she is one of the most influential players in the world right now with her size, her touch around the basket.
Skill's gotten so much better with her size.
Passing, the whole box and dice. She is an elite basketball player, but as you and I and all of us and you in the same situation, that there are times when you've got this elite talent, but if it's not gelling, if it's not cohesive and you don't have the support and you're all on the same page, it can bring you undone as well. And clearly they've been able to bounce back without her and beat the number 1 ranked team in the world. Little Diana Taurasi, I don't know, she didn't play in the game. I saw that. So
big out.
That's a
pretty big out.
Arguably the greatest of all time. So, I think that it is going to across a long tournament when you're up against not just the United States, but they're going to grind. Yeah. The grind. You need as much talent as you can. So it's unfortunate for her, but I think the most important thing you said, Bogues, is in these circumstances is we wish her well. I mean, we want her to get better, and hopefully that she can get through this period and she can come back better and bigger and stronger and learn from it. Because the last thing we need to do in these times is wish ill upon those that are ill.
Yep, exactly right. Pro, you got anything on the women's basketball game and Lizzie?
Look. I get what you guys are saying. Obviously you want to wish her well. You don't wish any, a lot of people are going through mental health issues. Here's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see her take 2 weeks off and then she's back playing. She obviously has an issue. I think if the WNBA really cared about her issue, she would take the rest of the year off and deal with her mental issues. Because to me, if she's not going to take the step of doing this for real, and really checking herself into a place or, just sort of really trying to reach out and get help. That to me, it seems like it was an outburst. She made a mistake and she covered it up with this. Because if she's only going to take a week or 2 off and then she's back playing the WNBA and she's doing her thing, then it's like, wait a minute. You have this major issue that you got to deal with. All right. And you're only going to take a week or 2 to sort of try to get better and then try to play again after you have this issue that, like, from from that 4 or 5 paragraph tweet she sent out, that statement, she's really dealing with this big problem. So to me, if you really care about this player and this girl, that the league itself should say, you know what? You need to step away and you need to get yourself some help and you need to get back to center. And then we could start thinking about basketball. But to me, because I've heard what she said too, and it's pretty fucking despicable what she said. It's a nightmare what she said, and it's despicable. And okay, if it's mental health, that's fine. I understand that to a certain degree. But the shit that she said is, to me, I can't forgive it. It's pretty bad, and it's going to get out there eventually. Let's be honest, it will get out. And it's so if this is a big problem and a real problem, which I assume it is, if the WNBA really needs to step in and say, you know what, you're not well to play right now. We care about you as a person more than we care about you as a basketball player. So you need to get your help. Because to say that stuff to those girls, it breaks my heart that those words were said. At least if that's true for what I've heard, that's despicable. So is it a mental health issue that you really care about, that you want to get help, or you really messed up and this is going to destroy you as a player and a person for when it gets out and you want to cover it up? So if she takes a week off, then I'm leaning towards that. If she takes 3 months off and really gets help, then I'm like, you know what? She put her best foot forward and she's really attacking this issue. That's what I think.
It's a fair point. It's a very fair point. I think we all wish her well. We'll watch the space and see how it goes, but that's a very, very valid point. If it's just a week off thing and, you're playing
the way she described it in her statement is that there was the concern when she doesn't have the support around her. So
the bubble.
I guess, yeah. So I guess the assumption is if she's in the WNBA, perhaps the time off is less because she does have the support people around her. But in principle, I think you're right, Pro. I think the league and others, sometimes you got to protect someone from themselves, and just step in and say, hey, you need to get yourself right. And then we welcome you back with open arms. And once you've like any illness or injury or whatever it may be, let's fix it.
Yeah, like Kevin Love. Like Kevin, when he went through that stuff, he took a lot of time off, right?
Yeah.
Bogues, right?
Yeah. And he was still going through it. I think while he was playing too, he was still getting the daily help and whatnot that he needed. But yeah, you just get well, Lizzie. And once you're back, join the team, follow the rules like everyone else, and there won't be any more problems. So that's the best case. But look, we're on to what we brought the great man himself here for. We're going to go through our pool predictions. We're going to go through the Olympics. Of course, we love the banter in between the Olympic predictions and hearing a lot of F-bombs from Pro. Part of the show here at Rogue Bogues. But Pro will mess up almost every one of these international names unless it's John Smith. He will have no idea how to pronounce
I'm right with him. I'm not great. You with your foreign background, I tell you, people in Europe, maybe because they're dealing with it a lot more often, but they are exceptional at being able to hit pronounce the names. But
I might struggle with a few. The Nigerian team poses a few threats, so I got to get those pronunciations right. But of course,
hey, yeah, don't fuck with that Nigerian team. We don't need any Stephen A. Smith bullshit up in here, right?
Yeah, they've had a rough week.
Let's keep it centered.
But of course, myself and Andrew Gaze will be covering, and John Casey, who's not here, but Andrew Gaze will be covering the Olympics for Channel 7 here in Australia. So make sure you tune into that, and I'll try to get Gazy off the fence on a lot of topics live on Channel 7. But pool predictions. Let's go to Group A. What I've kind of done is you guys chime in. I've gone through all the teams, and I've gone through the key player for each team, in my opinion. We'll start with the Team USA. For me, it's Kevin Durant. I think when everything bogs down for them, he's going to be the guy they're throwing the ball to and getting the hell out of the way, especially the way they play. It's going to become very ISO late in shot clocks, and he needs to have a 20 to 30 point tournament for them to win that gold medal, fellas.
No, I agree. He's going to be their key man. He's going to be the one that in those clutch moments, they're going to be going to him and trying to create something for him. And if they've got enough that if he doesn't play well, they've got enough talent that they've still got a very good chance of still succeeding. But he's going to be the focal point as you set your roles and have your priorities. No matter how much talent you have, you still have to do that. And he's going to be one of the priorities for the USA team, no doubt.
Pro?
I'm going to say KD in a very close second, the way he's playing, if he doesn't, knock on wood, if he doesn't get hurt throughout the playoffs, is Booker. I think Booker, because of his ability to, get under people, he can put the ball on the floor, he can handle it in pick and rolls, he can make shots. He's just playing at such a high level right now, in the playoffs. But I agree with you. KD is their number one option because Booker hasn't been there. But I think that Booker could be a big asset for them, because of the fact that he could take you on the ball, off the ball, and his offense is at an all-time high right now. So, but I do agree with you. I think KD's the guy.
All right, moving on to France. So for me, they have a lot of good NBA players, obviously Gobert, but for me, the guy that fires up for them, that is huge for them, is Evan Fournier. He is, a guy that when we played him was integral to what they did. He's a primary ball handler for him, so he's playing a lot of point guard for him, pick and roll. He gets them into their stuff, and he's a fiery bastard. I like that about him. I've got into it with him a few times, and I like that. I mean, he's happy to get into it with you. But I think Fournier's key to them, Drewy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with Rudy, he's a presence, and the way in which that he's going to protect the rim and what he does on the defensive end is huge. But I've got a list of their team and the exact.
Go for it, mate.
12. No, I'm just not sure exactly how it's going to pan out.
Yeah.
But you're right. Fournier at the World Cup, I got to call a lot of his games, and he was huge offensively. When in doubt, and you always get to those times when, and the European teams very system orientated, the way in which they execute in the half court, they're elite, a lot of fun to watch. But things will break down, and if you needed a basket, they were playing through him. So I have to agree with you with what France and if they're going to be successful, they've got a stacked team, a lot of NBA players, but he's going to have to be huge.
Pro, what do you know about France besides the croissants?
Fucking croissants are unbelievable. But no, I'm gonna go. Because I actually like Fournier, I'm not going to pick him, as, again, my picking skills. God forbid the guy's going to have, Cheerios across the board with zeros. I'm going to go with Nando De Colo, who plays for Fenerbahce, play in the NBA. I really like this kid. I liked him when he played in the NBA. He could really score. He can shoot. He can handle the ball a little bit. Played at Fenerbahce in Turkey last year. I think that he, I really like Fournier. Don't get me wrong. He's a hell of a player. But De Colo's got no fucking conscience at all. He wouldn't pass to a homeless person on the street if they can give him fucking meal money. So I think that this kid could really take over a game. He could score. He's tough. He's been all over the world right now playing since he left the NBA a few years back. I think he's a very good player.
Well, though, at the World Cup, he had a slower start to the tournament, and I think in some of those games, I don't even know if they started him. They might have
came off the bench.
They brought him off the bench. So, but you're right, he's a star, and he's been huge in Europe as well. But
Jesus Christ, Gaze, you didn't make a fucking stop in 25 years of playing, and you're gonna fucking stop me when I fucking make a prediction? Jesus Christ!
No, I'm just saying that the recent history and his role in the team. But I'm with you. He's a star, and he does step up. But Rudy. Like I said, it's hard to with what Rudy's getting.
All truth here, Gaze. When we going over the playoffs, and we had one impact player that's not a star on each team. I picked a guy for the Memphis Grizzlies that didn't play a fucking minute in the playoffs. So
right.
Believe me,
that's right.
You're doing me a fucking favor. I appreciate it.
All right, so Iran. This was a hard team to even get a roster on, really.
Yeah.
I think they're making up the numbers, if we can say that. The only guy I really know that is a bucket is Hamed Haddadi.
Yes,
played in
the big
NBA,
fella.
but he's 36.
That's all right. He still can shoot it.
I think he's the guy for them. He'll get 80% of their touches.
Yeah.
But he's a pretty talented kid. When we played him, they came and toured Australia here about 10 years ago, went out and watched, and he's a bucket down there, and he's their best player, clearly. So I think it's pretty easy to assume that he'd be the number one guy.
Yeah, he is. The other guys I don't know a whole lot about. There is another guy on there that shoots it real well. There are other guy, him and this other guy, but right now I'm looking at their names and I don't even know which one it is, so I can't.
Bro, enlighten us with your pick from Iran. I can't wait for this.
No, hey, fuck that. I'm good. Let's go with Haddadi. I'm not going to get myself in fucking trouble.
Yeah.
So let's go with Haddadi.
The last one we have, pretty easy one as well, Czech Republic. Look, they have a lot of guys that are kind of similar skill sets.
Yep.
They do play a lot of small ball. When we played in the World Cup, they weren't that talented team, but they played really well together. A lot of guys that are like 6'7", shooters, can dribble, but Thomas Satoransky is the guy for them.
He's a star. My favourite player in the World Cup was him.
Really?
He was he was
Wow,
in the
look
pool.
at this guy.
No, I commentated in the pool that he had, so I saw a lot of him.
Yep.
And the way he went about it, he didn't shoot at a real elite clip, but would do everything and was all over, constantly on the move, elite at both ends of the floor. And just the joy in which he played and the way he interacted with his teammates, he's the absolute star of the team, but he didn't behave with that. You know, he behaved in a way at which that he was
Getting
just
guys involved
getting everyone involved and really encouraged. He is a superstar, and I love the way he goes about it.
Bro?
Gaze, is that because he played against his great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great grandfather
That's it.
or what?
That's it.
In 2600 BC in Greece?
That's
okay. No, but I like Jan Vesely a little bit, but he's just he's never really performed
Just
for me.
inconsistent, yeah.
Yeah, I like Satoransky. I agree with you. He's very smart. He's good with the ball. He's got good vision. If they're gonna go anywhere in that pool, it's he's gonna be the guy taking them there. But I agree with you. They got a couple of decent players. Blake Schlieb, who played in the United States in college. I think Loyola Chicago, but not really much. I think Satoransky is going to be the guy that sort of takes him. I agree with you guys.
All right, give me your pool prediction. So I'm going to go through mine. I think this whole pool comes down to one game, Czech Republic versus France. I think that game's going to determine second, in my opinion.
Yeah. France, don't go to sleep on France beating the USA.
Yeah, I don't know. Early on? No, I'm still going USA 1, France 2, Czech Republic 3, Iran 4. What do you got, Drewy?
No, I've got the same. I've got the same. But I think that would be a nervous game for Team USA to up against
They
France.
got the length and size. They got
absolutely,
the athleticism. Yeah.
And they're not going to be overawed by the names on the other because they play against them day in, day out, and they've got enough skill. So, but I still think...
Well, they pushed them at the World Cup too, didn't they?
They did. And France have pushed them. Did they beat them?
They beat them, maybe.
Yeah.
It might even be right, yeah.
Yeah, they beat them. So,
they knocked them out, I think.
They've got a lot of talent, and they would be nervous about this one, but I think USA will get them, but I'm not as confident as you are in that, but yeah, that's the way I'd predict it. But I think everyone would. That's probably the easiest pool to pick.
I agree. Pro, same?
You're not going to go with Kareem Abdul-Haddadi, trying to get to the medal round?
Nah, not this time.
I'm going to go. No, I'm going to go with USA, France, and Czech Republic. That's what I'm going to go with, and Iran. That's what I got.
Group B. This is Australia's group. We've got Australia, Nigeria, Germany, Italy. Italy and Germany were the qualifiers. Actually, surprising that they both qualified out of their pools. Serbia and Croatia pools. We'll start with. Maybe we'll just go deep dive on Australia later on after we do the pools. But Nigeria, looking at their roster, they've got a pretty balanced roster. But I have young fella, Gabe Vincent, I think, is the guy for them.
Well, when he's playing for Nigeria, he goes by a different name. But
does he?
Gabe, it's Nwan. I'm not even going to try and say it, but yeah.
Gabe Vincent it is.
Gabe Vincent it is for us for the time being.
Primary ball handler for him, scorer, athletic. He's kind of the starting in for them offensively, so I think he'll be the player to look out for Nigeria for me, Drew.
Well, you're right, and you looked at that game against the USA, and he was huge. The funny thing about that game is when you looked at the stats, they played 15 guys. It was like they was just...
What did you hear about their training camp?
They had 40-something guys show up.
We talked about it last pod. They had almost 50 players at a camp.
Yeah.
Well, it was like, how do you even...
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. No, I know. I'm with you. But the other one that you think, and you just look at the numbers, and he's been around a little bit, and you'd be aware of a veteran guy, is Udo. Is it?
Epe?
Yeah. Was he?
Played with Joey in Utah?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that he's good, but and they've got a lot of NBA guys. Akogi? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Okafor's in there as well, Jill.
Okafor, who's been around. Now, how is he? He played for the USA in the juniors.
Did he really?
Yeah. I'm looking at this saying, how does he qualify?
Actually, this is a gripe I have about FIBA.
Yep.
This is one that I forgot to bring up. Is like, I get the one generation descent, like your parents migrated or whatever, but like they're taking the piss now at some point. Like there's like third, fourth generations. I might have an iota of this. I'm not saying the Nigerian team, but there's countries out there where you're like, mate, seriously.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch.
He did go to high school in the United States. He went to high school in Chicago, so he was there. So I don't, If they fuck this thing up with him, it's on the Nigerian side as far as like he did play. I don't know. No, like what I'm saying is like
I gotcha.
He did. I think he was born in the United States and he played high school, went to college, obviously, and he was really good. And then just like Al Jefferson and Roy Hibbert, the game just changed overnight. And they stopped going to these guys that can't shoot from the outside, that are post-up scorers, and they can only score on the block, and they can't step out, and they can't guard anybody, they can't switch. So, yeah, that's sort of what happened to him. But but he was a big-time high school player in the United States, and big-time college player.
Who are you picking from this team? Who's your player to watch?
I'm going to go with your guy. He's a tough player. He's played well. I think he's playing with a lot of confidence. I'm going to go with him for sure. The guy Gabe.
Okay. Germany for me, Moritz Wagner, pretty obvious, I think.
It is.
He's a bucket for him, and if he's not scoring for him.
Here's the thing, though. In the World Cup in 2019, he didn't make the team. They did not legit. He went to camp, and they didn't pick him. So he's one that's come out. He led him in scoring in the qualifying, and he's a very good one. But the other one that, if I'm saying, and you take for granted he's going to have to be really good for them to be competitive. But the other one is, and again, apologies for the pronunciation here, but Modo Low. Now he's a guard, and he's played in Europe, and he wins wherever he goes. He's played in 3 different German teams that have gone on to win German titles. So he's a common denominator. Now, he might have just been in the right place at the right time, but he's a common denominator in that, and he's a point guard leader. He runs the team, and he was pretty solid in the World Cup, and they had a poor World Cup. They should have qualified.
Yeah, really bad.
And they had a
Schroeder, and they had a pretty loaded team.
And
as well.
Schroeder, he was just dominating the ball. But this guy here without Schroeder, I think that he's a better fit. And I think that he's going to be huge for them. He has to be huge for them if they're going to be competitive.
Okay. Bro?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Wagner. Is Paul Zipser playing for them, Bogues?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I'm always a huge Paul Zipser fan, but I don't think he'll make the impact that Wagner will. Yeah, I think Wagner, because he can make shots.
Zipser was in 2019. I know that.
Yeah, he was.
Is he in this team or not? I don't have the team in front of me.
But
Jonas Voigtman is the other one that was pretty good in 2019. He's the big fella, 7-footer.
Yep.
He's been around a little bit, and he plays for CSKA, I think it is.
Yeah,
I'm going off.
That's a hard thing with some of these teams, because some of these teams have guys that are even hard to scout.
Correct.
And getting film from a German league game or this. So it poses some threats for Australia.
You know what I'm shocked at? You can't go to one place to get rosters for the fucking Olympics.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I know it is.
Yeah.
Trying to do the research.
Lift your game. Get a website together where we can check rosters properly, and at least have a page where they announce the 12.
Hey, by the way, Japan, how many fucking yen do I have to pay for you guys to put fucking rosters up on your website? I mean, it's unbelievable. I know there's going to be nobody in the fucking stands.
They're just trying to get an Olympic Games up and running. They've got a lot of stresses.
They've got a few issues they got to deal with.
Final team in this pool group in Group B, Italy. For me, Nico Mannion.
Golden State. Yeah.
He had a really good lead-in tournament for them. They were surprising. They beat Serbia in Serbia, which is never hard to do to get out of their qualifiers. He was a bucket for them. He's been under the tutelage of one of the greats in Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, so hasn't played a whole lot the last season. Got spot minutes when they were all healthy, so I think wants to prove himself that he can play and lead a team, and I think he's their guy.
Well, Gallinari comes in, and he wasn't there for the qualifiers, but they've picked him, and with his NBA experience and what he's done with the Italian team in the past, he's going to be a focal point.
Well, yeah.
The other one, and again, this is a guy I don't know a lot about, but I'm only looking just purely at the numbers, and I watched one of their games in the qualifiers. Is this Simone?
That Simone guy?
Yeah, Simone Fontecchio.
Yeah.
Is that right, bro?
Yeah.
Fontecchio.
I can make fun of him because he's my own people. It sounds like you could order him with a good bolognese sauce, because it sounds like a pasta dish.
Fontecchio.
He averaged like 18, right?
We averaged 20, almost
18,
20
right?
in the qualifying, and had 21 against Serbia in that final, which got him over the line. Again, I've only seen him play, but he looks really good. Big guy, mobile.
Makes threes.
He can shoot the 3 ball. Doesn't take a lot of them, but can shoot them. And he was. In fact, I've got He was over 50, 7-4 in 3 games. He was 7-13 from the 3-point line, so he can shoot the three. So from what I saw of him in this one game, so it's a very, very small
So
sample.
who's your guy, Drew? You got Gallo, you got the...
No, I'm going with Fontecchio.
Okay.
Now, apologies if I said that wrong, though. I've said his name wrong.
Pro?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to go with Fonticchio because, I mean,
Sounds
he's
like
got more
food.
vowels in his fucking name than I do. Yeah, it sounds like food. I like Simone Fontecchio with a nice bolognese and a nice bolognese sauce. So yeah, now I'm gonna go with Fontecchio with a side of pasta.
All right, the big team in this group, Australia.
Yep.
So really good lead up. They just seem primed to finally get their medal, in my opinion. I think we're in a really good stead mentally, physically. I think the Bainesy injury, from what I hear, is all good. A bit of a knee bang with him, but he's all good now. But just a really well-balanced roster. I think the obvious one for us, for the guy on this team, is Paddy. I think, we start and end with him scoring. We need him to be that scoring. But I think Matisse Thybulle is going to be very, very important for us. He's coming off the bench at the moment. Does he now start? Who knows? But he's coming into the lineup early. He's a nuisance defensively. Shooting the shit out of the three, which I didn't think he'd shoot it that well. Shooting it very, very well. Maybe that FIBA line is better suited to his needs. But I'm going to say I think we know what Paddy's going to bring, but I think Matisse is that X factor. We haven't had an athletic defensive wing like that in a number of years. Sorry, Joe Ingles. But I think he's the guy on that team that's going to be the X factor.
Well, and I agree. I think that, and you've got to slap myself because during the season when there was talk about do you take Bryce Cotton or Matisse Thybulle, and I was looking at our roster and I'm thinking, we need to score. Unsure about Dellavedova, how much he can deliver. He can lead us, but how many points he can get and how are we going to get our 80 to 90 points? How are we going to do it? And I was looking at it and thinking, I think I'd lean more towards Bryce. But now seeing Matisse Thybulle play and what he brings to the team, if I had my time over again, I would have said...
And Chris Goulding.
And Chris Goulding. He
7 for 7 against
extraordinary.
Nigeria.
Now, he's not going to do that night in,
but still,
night out.
I think that's a scoring punch. I mean, Bryce is better off the dribble maybe, but Chris is still a pretty good scorer off the bench.
Correct. And I think that if I'm going for an X factor, and this is taken for granted the greatness of Paddy Mills because he is going to be our leader and he's a superstar. But if you look at performances in the past, Joe Ingles is a superstar for Australia and does all the right things and plays at an exceptionally high level. But if you go back over his Olympic campaign and the World Cup campaign, he has not shot the ball like we know Joe Ingles can shoot.
Not Utah Jazz Joe, yeah.
Not Utah from shooting. Now, he does other things. In fact, in 2019, if my memory serves me correct, and you'd know better than this, Bogues, I actually think he led the team in boards. I think he was your leading rebounder and is right up there with assists and playmaking and all those things. So he was
triple-double one game, I think.
Yeah.
Or fringe triple-double.
No, I think he might have 9 assists. Yeah, he
might have been against Nigeria, actually. Yeah.
But this is not a slight on him, but if he can shoot the ball like he does with the Utah Jazz for the Boomers, that is going to be a huge
and that's a valid point because even I think it was the USA game, maybe the Argentina game, he was not shooting the ball as well, and he finally hit one, and he kind
there was like a relief.
He kind of gave the hands praying to God with his hands, and I think it is in his head a little bit. I think he's aware that he hasn't played as well as he's liked for the national team, and he'll be the first probably to tell you that historically.
Well, he's played well.
I think his bar's higher. I think he hasn't played poorly.
No.
But I think the consistency for him and what he can do, always feels like he can do more, and I think that's irked him a little bit. So I think he's going to have a good tournament based on, I think he's coming in like, I'm going to have a good tournament. But you don't obviously want him to overthink it as well, right?
No.
So I agree with you there.
Yeah, that'd be my pick. Is if you're going to say, take for granted that Paddy's going to be Paddy.
Yeah.
And everyone, if Joe can then just shoot like he does everything he still does, but just knock down a few extra ones, that is going to be massive.
Pro?
Yeah, I'm not going to jerk off Joe. You know why? The guy's got more zeros in his fucking bank account than a fucking box of Cheerios. So, you know what? He's got his shit. I'm going to go with a young fella named Jock Lawndale. Lawndale.
Oh,
all right?
Yeah,
I'm saying that's his coming. Yeah, that's his coming out party. This kid is going to he's going to moonwalk his way into an NBA contract by fucking having a good fucking performance. No, seriously, I think he'll be good. Now, look, Patty, we know what Patty's going to do. And Patty's a very important part of the team because he could score so many ways. He could disrupt the game. No question about it. But I do like Lawndale. No one's talking about him. I didn't even have him on the team 2 months ago. But I'm going to go with Lawndale.
He cut him for Will Magnay.
Oh, no, that was a poor decision.
I had no idea.
He had no idea.
I had no fucking idea. And you know what? I'm about 500 IQ points away from being a fucking moron. And I can't even I didn't even check the fucking roster from the last Olympics or any other competition, knowing that he was on the fucking team already. And I didn't have him. I watched some fucking like black and white fucking YouTube clip from fucking 4 years ago, and I'm like, and then I would get a load of shit from Bogues and the rest of the fucking Australian community.
It's a high price
I'm going to
production
go with Lawndale.
Yeah,
it's a very high price production. We do our research.
Yeah.
No, but it's a good call though. I like the call because he's going to need to be special because without Bogues there, we've lost a lot in that position, and it was interesting against the United States down the stretch. They were going with Nick Kay. And now, admittedly,
high post, yeah.
Bainesy was, he was
Thank God
hurt.
It worked. It looked good.
But Nick Kay, he looked really good and comfortable out there. He's aesthetically, he's not going to wow you, but effectiveness, he was really good as well.
Jock's good too. Like from the high post, he could post up. He's good with hooks. He could open you up and go to the basket. I think there are times where he could be more aggressive offensively, but then again, he could just sit back and pass from the high post, play defense, rebound, screen. He's not going to dominate the game, but he can make an impact because he is physical. He's got balls. He can screen, rebound, and do those little things. And
he
then
shot it almost at 40% from three.
Yeah, and he can stretch. Yeah, he could be okay.
All right, Drew, I'm putting you on the spot. Give me your group. Call your group. Put you under the pump. This is the hardest group to pick, in my opinion.
I think. the next one's a little tough as well.
I think both, yeah.
But Nigeria is the one that's really surprised us. It's going to be a genuine battle here. But I'm going Australia, Italy, Germany, Nigeria.
All right, pro.
That's what I'm going. I'm going Australia with the gold medal.
Wow.
But I'm going to go Australia.
Call it early, pro.
Yeah,
put it out there. Okay.
Hey, I've been called Kim Jong-un in my group chat, by the way, if I take in saying that Australia is going to beat the United States, but I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with what Gay said. I'm going to go Australia, Italy. I'm representing my people, and then Germany and Nigeria. That's what I'm going to go with. But Australia, I'm going to go with them with the gold medal.
It's a tough one, I think. I think Australia is a clear number one. I'm going to go Australia, Italy, Nigeria, Germany. I'm putting Germany last. I'm just going to change it up a little bit.
That is not a bad call. I was actually thinking that, but I didn't have the courage.
I think Nigeria will steal a win.
I got spooked by them when they lost by 40 or something, or 50 to Australia. I thought, maybe that other stuff was
without 9 of their guys. I think fucking Paul Hogan was in their lineup.
That's true too. We didn't have everyone, but. No, Nigeria that is going to be a scary game for Australia first up.
It is.
And I go back to when, this is a long time ago, but back in 2000, we played Italy in a pre-Olympic game and lost by 38-40.
Oh, wow.
They absolutely destroyed us. And then 2 weeks later in the Olympics, we played them to get through in the quarterfinal game. And we beat them.
Yeah.
So it's don't get conned by that one result.
The pre-tournament games are a bit different.
Yeah.
How did it feel to play in front of Christopher Columbus and Mussolini? Were they good guys, or were they decent?
They were great. They were great.
All right, let's wrap it up with Group C. So we've got Argentina, Japan, Spain, Slovenia. Another really tough group. As Japan being the hosts, probably got screwed the most out of anyone with their group. We'll start with Argentina.
Yep.
They're still a very well balanced team. Saw them obviously firsthand. They battled Australia to the wire. They had a chance to win that game. Paddy made a tough shot on the buzzer. Luis Scola, 41 years old. He is you. He just doesn't age, and he's just so highly skilled. And when I watch him play, he's one of those guys. He's kind of Dudley, Nick Kay like in a way where He's not overly athletic. He's not overly physical, but his legs just keep moving. He's one of those little kids that just their legs just keep running and running and running. And unbelievable. Credit to him. I thought he would have been done a long time ago. He's the X factor for me on that team. For him to do anything, he needs to have another tournament like he did in 2019, Drew.
Where he was phenomenal. And then I thought, well, can he keep going? Yeah, but he does. He just keeps on keeping on, gets a little grayer. He doesn't run up and down the floor as much as he used to, but you can't underestimate experience, and the way he uses his body is great. But Campazzo, for me, is that he's the way in which he distributes the ball, gets everyone involved. This is a talented team, but they play well because of their history and their passion and their emotion for their to play for their country. It's not as talented as it has been in the past, but they are a handful. But Campazzo has to be the director. He's got to get them going for them to be able to score enough.
Bro.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the poor prick that he's not tall enough to go on Space Mountain in Disney World, but I'm going to go with fucking Campazzo. And then another guy to look out for is a guy we had in Dallas that a few years ago, Nicholas Persino, who's not a great player, but yeah, he's a very good, skilled kid that could shoot the ball, he could drive it. But Campazzo, to me, he's like a JJ Barea, type of player. He could just controls the game. He's physical. He gets to the basket. He directs things. The poor, like I said, the poor bastard's about 3'7", but he's not bad, man.
Yeah, but he's taller than JJ still. He's still taller than JJ.
Yeah, but the cool thing is at halftime, they'll shoot him out of a fucking cannon for the halftime show, but they'll come back in the second half and score 20 on you.
Some would say Brasino would still be in the league if the development at Dallas was any fucking good.
Well, the problem is, sometimes you worry about the players not passing physicals. I couldn't pass a physical for 6 fucking years. So, no question about it. I would have fired me a long time ago.
All right, next team, Japan. I mean, Hachimura's he's the guy for that team.
Yeah, Hachimura.
I think he's definitely going to be they're going to be okay though. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to be completely blown out. I think they got an okay balanced roster. The kid from United, what's his name?
Uday Baba.
Uday Baba.
Really good.
He's solid.
Yeah, he's really good.
Paint pressure, but yeah, Hachimura for me on that team to look out for. But I don't see Japan making any noise in this group.
No, he's a star. And when they had that group together, and it wasn't our best Boomers team, but we went to Japan in a game, but Dudley was playing and Thon Maker was in that game, and they came in, they rolled us. So they can get it going, but this is a really tough pull for him. And Hachimura you need about 4 Hachimuras in order for them, I think, to get through in this pool. But and the problem they've got is they don't even have that the fan support at games, so it's sort of like a neutral venue for
Maybe
them.
we just give them 3 Japanese officials as a sorry.
Well, that's it. So it's going to be tough for him, but yeah, he's their hope.
They're going to have all those cardboard cutouts with real mean looks in their faces for the visiting team, so that's going to be really intimidating.
Who you got, Pro? Hachimura,
and they're going to put the white flag up after the second fucking game. They got 0 chance of getting to the medal round. They got 0 fucking chance. Okay. They're going to call prime ministers in. They're going to say we surrender. There's no fucking chance we could compete in this. Not in this pool. Spain's good. Slovenia's not bad. Argentina's good. I just don't. I can't see them getting into that top 3. Look, I love Hachimura. I think he's a good player. He's solid. He's a tough kid. But I just don't think they have enough.
Yeah, fair enough. I think we're all on that. Spain, just a solid team. They're going to be up there somewhere every year. This is a hard team to pick a standout. Gasol's going again. Pau. Mark's involved again. But for me, I think the guy on their team is Rudy Fernandez. I think when they need a bucket, going to work, I think he's going to be the guy still on the perimeter for him. All these flopping and antics and all that. That's how he plays. But when he has good games historically for them, when he has a good game from the perimeter, regardless of what the Gasols and everyone else is doing, they win basketball games.
Yeah, I agree with you. The flopping, geez, annoying to watch. He's an elite player, but my goodness, I've commentated games with him over the past 10 years, a lot of them, because they've been so good, and it is frustrating when he's out there.
If they play Australia, watch the Joe Ingles and Fernandez battle, because Joey, I think they've had a rivalry since he was in Barcelona, and there's a bit of
it can be frustrating to watch. But to me, Ricky Rubio,
okay.
Rubio, he sets the table for everyone else. Against you guys, he did really well, played really well. So when he's cooking, and he gets everyone involved. Similar, I guess, to a lot of teams with their point guard influences. But to me, he's the one that needs to play well, and he has done. He's a veteran now. He's been around a long time, and he's going to push him. But I don't see this for some reason, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just him. But I don't see this Spain team being as intimidating as it's been in the past, and I think they got their hands full in this group.
Yeah, I think they'll still be tough. I mean, they're just. I think they're similar position to us to an extent.
Yeah.
A bit older though.
Yeah, that's it.
They're just been together so long. I mean, you don't have to have those long camps. I think that helps. Pro, who you got?
Because I can't find a roster and I haven't seen them play. Is Mirotic playing for them?
No, he's not there. He's not there.
All right, so I'll go with Rudy Fernandez. Fuck it. I'm a huge. No, you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna go with my favorite international player of all time. I'm gonna go with fucking Pau Gasol. Even though he's like the 8th center on the roster, I'm gonna go with Pau Gasol.
Yeah. Fair enough. I wonder. It would be interesting to see how many minutes the Gasols get. Period, because they got a young big coming up too. I don't have the name on me, but that's supposed to be pretty good. But anyway, Slovenia. I mean,
oh well, here we
go. Do we even discuss this one? Luka Doncic.
Correct.
They'll be okay though. I think they'll have a chance. Yeah. Luka gets hot as a triple double. They can win a game, as we saw. People didn't have him coming out of that qualification.
No,
and they did.
They did, and he is incredible. They run really great system when you watch him play, and he buys into that. Yes, the ball stays in his hand, and he's going to create off the dribble, and the actions that he gets involved in, he's dominating. But they do run a bit of motion, which and run some cuts, which is nice to see as well. So, but he's a bona fide star. Yeah. He's a delight to watch, and the thing about these teams, whether it's and that's what worries me the most about our pool, when you've got two teams in Germany and Italy that have come through the qualifiers, and similarly with Slovenia, they're hardened. They've already been at the coalface of playing for your life or else you're out. And that is helpful in your preparation, provided you get through. And Slovenia is in that category. They've got a lot of good players, but Luka's going to be front and center with them.
Pro?
Yeah, Luka. I mean, Luka could take, he could get off the bus in fucking Tokyo. He could pick up 4 homeless guys with him, and he could compete for a medal just because he's one of the he's Larry Bird like that, as far as like he could put 4 other guys with him and he could put them in position to win. They won't win, but he'll put them in a position to win with almost any type of player with them because he's just that type of guy, and he's going to be tough. And is Dragic playing with them, correct, I assume? Mm-hmm. They're both playing, or no?
Yep. Yeah, Dragic is there, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the last 9 guys I put up there in the last 10 minutes, they haven't played. 3 of them were dead, and 2 of them got deported. So, I just wanted to make sure. But no, with those 2 guys, I mean, the way Luka plays and they compete, I mean, there's nobody great in that. In that pool. There's some good teams in that pool, but it wouldn't surprise me if Slovenia could take number 1 or number 2 in that pool, just because, look, Argentina's okay. Spain's good, but they're not great. I don't think Japan's going to get out of there, but like any of those 3, you can miss. It's like rearranging the deck chairs at a Titanic. I mean, you never know. It doesn't really you could get any 3 combination out of there because there's no really like clear cut winner, in my opinion, in that pool. But we'll see. But I think, Doncic for sure.
And remember, for everyone listening, some third place teams will get through to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
So only one of them, gets eliminated. But this is how I have it standing at the end of it. I have Spain first, Slovenia second, Argentina third, Japan fourth. Drewy?
I'm going with Slovenia first, Spain, and then Argentina, and then Japan.
Okay. Pro?
Fucking gays stole my shit again, man. Come on. I've been here. I've been here 29 fucking episodes, and now you're stealing my fucking thunder on these picks, man. No. I'm going with my guy. I'm going with my guy, Gaze.
Slovenia
that's
first.
Go. Same
call.
thing.
Okay.
And the thing about it too, and I don't know whether it was just because the cameras are on and you're in that moment when you're with the national team, but did you see the interview when he was in those qualifiers and in the press conference after it, and they get through? They did that, but
song.
They sang it. But above and beyond that is that they asked him, what would mean more to you? Would it be an NBA title or a gold medal for Slovenia? And he went with the gold medal for Slovenia. And I think that, Bogues, you could probably speak on it more than what we can, just that what it means in that part of the world.
Well, even over here, it's the same for us. Like, because I don't know if there's a question of do the USA guys take it for granted because it's so certain almost every other year.
Yeah.
And for a basketball nation like Slovenia, such a small country, Australia, I think there's just that pride of like, we're not supposed to do it, so we're going to do it. So I think it just means much more for those countries. Whereas if you're the US or the Russia in ice hockey or whatever it is, right, I think you're just meant to do it. So it's kind of like, we did it. We ticked the box. But that's how I see it. I just think it's a
I think Paddy Mills would be the same. I think he would cherish an Olympic gold medal more than he does his NBA championship. As great
no
as
doubt. There's no doubt in my mind. Yeah, it just makes total sense. All right. That's our Olympic wrap. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how right and wrong we are in a couple of weeks. But once again, we will be commentating it, Drew and I.
Yes.
So check into Channel 7 for that. We have a segment here called, it's a stats segment where we find stats that are, all over the place.
Right.
And we've discussed whether they're useful or useless because there's a lot of crazy stuff out there. So the first one, very, very good. The Bucks finished the 2021 playoffs 5-0 when wearing their white jersey at home. All other teams went 0-7.
Yes.
Useful or useless, Drewy? What do you think?
Useless. Just a coincidence. I don't even think they'd know half the time what colour their jerseys are. Once you're out there and the ball goes up, no idea. Although I have heard that there is some psychology behind the colour of the uniform and the impact that can have on the official. So maybe
there you go.
There may be something, but I'm calling it useless.
Right.
Hey, Gaze, you went to 7 fucking classes all year at Seton Hall 45 fucking years ago. Don't pull that fucking psychology bullshit on us, all right? My 3-year-old kid had more college credits than you fucking have. So calm the fuck down with your psychology, all right? And by the way, the Bucks are also 5-0 when I eat 3,000 or more calories after 10 o'clock at night, all right? You could stick that fucking stat up your ass. That's one of the biggest bullshit things I've heard in my fucking life. Fucking jersey.
Yeah, it was a bit of a fun one, but definitely useless. All right, the Greek freak this finals.
Yes.
26 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists.
Yes.
3 blocks, 2 steals, 58% field goal percentage. Then
that was in game 4.
Sorry, that was, Then he's followed that with 41, 13, and 6. Then he's followed that with 42, 12, 4, 1, and 3. And then he's followed that with 20, 17, 4, 2, and 1.
Yep.
All above 50% field goal percentage. This man had his knee bent backwards 2 years ago. Useful or useless stat?
That he had his knee bent?
No, just the whole, the numbers that these are just the stats that he provided. They're very useful stats.
They are exceptionally attractive statistics.
Amazing.
And phenomenal that the way in which he would do it on the back of that knee injury where I thought he was done for a long period of time. When I saw that knee go back, it looked horrific, but he's bounced back and he's putting up numbers that if it were not for those numbers, they would not be in this situation and it would be ta-da and they'd be popping champagne in Phoenix.
They would. Pro?
Bogues, there was less numbers on the blackboard with fucking Matt Damon and Goodwill Hunting. How many fucking numbers did you put in that fucking stat,
every game.
by the way?
It was game 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yes.
I know your attention span is the same as your 3-year-old, but geez.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Poor bastard's got my DNA in him. But yes, I think that it's useful. That the fucking guy, he's come to play. And let's be honest, I'd say about 99% of the public probably thought he was done after that.
That was horrendous.
Terrible.
Yeah, I agree. All right, and following that one up with this one, this is the last one. For game 3, Giannis scored 41 points and did not make a shot outside of 5 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Useful or useless?
I think that's useful. Absolutely. They're going to dare him to shoot it. They're going to make him and invite him to shoot it from the perimeter, particularly from the 3-point line. But his ability to get there, when he gets downhill and can get both feet in the paint, the efficiency and the stats speak for themselves, and that is a pivotal reason why the Bucks are able to get those wins, because he has the capacity to do that.
And he's the only player in the last 25 seasons to even score 30 points in a finals without making a field goal outside of 5 feet. So, pro?
Yeah, I think it's useful. I like the fact that he didn't really fall into what he's been falling into in previous years of just launching up shots to launch up shots. I think he's getting to his kill spots. I think he's getting to the basket. He's getting to the post. He wants to get fouled, even though sometimes he'll probably make 50-55% from the line. But I think he's just getting to where he gets to. So that doesn't really bother me that he only scored from that distance. I think he did a good job just getting to his spots and being effective and putting them in position position to win. What do you think, Bogues?
Well, especially when they're setting up that everyone set up the Giannis wall, set up the Giannis wall, and he still managed to score 41. Basically inside the paint. That's amazing, and just goes to show his athleticism. Early on in that series, we spoke about he wasn't Euro stepping, he wasn't as comfortable with the knee, but these last couple of games, man, I mean, you know, when everyone knows what you're going to do, and you can still do it because you're just supremely, you know, athletic and confident and high IQ player, that's an amazing stat.
And you know what the thing is, and I hate to put a damper on what he's doing, but it's hard with the way the game's officiated to stop him.
It is.
Because he just bullies, he just walks in there and just rolls over people, and very rarely they're going to call an offensive foul, particularly when he's in that, you know, in the transition. So it is very, very difficult for him. And if you do, you build that wall, you're kicking it out and they're knocking down three. So it is hard, but he's done well to not settle and make sure he gets to the paint. But you go, well, how do you stop that? You've got this freak coming at you.
And he's within 8 feet of the basket. It's a layup finger roll for him. He's just so long. And that's a problem with the Euro from the top of the key. If he picks the ball up, you know, Miami had success of making him pick the ball up last playoffs a season ago. They made him pick it up before he got to the free throw line. So he started his Euro a good 2 meters back, and then he's not at the cup. But if he picks it up at the free throw line, you're in some trouble because it's either a dunk or a finger roll. So, yeah, he's having an amazing series, and it'll be interesting to see what they do to adapt. Our final segment before we wrap it up is fact or fake news, Drewy. So it's his pro segment. What do you got for us, pro?
Fellas, the Boomers will finally medal in Olympic Games. Top 3 finish. Fact or fake news?
No, that's fact. That's fact. They should have it. Bogues should have a medal around his neck, given one of the most horrific officiating decisions we've ever seen. So I think, and they're being close. They backed it up in 2019. They're right there on the cusp. So I think their form suggests that is fact.
Fact. Everything's pointing to fact for this one. I think we're well oiled, well primed. Gorge has those guys firing. Good balanced roster. But I forgot to ask you, Drewy, you put Giddey in the team? Do you put him in the 12?
Yes, I would have had him in the team.
Who does he replace? Put you on the spot.
That's the hard one.
Oh, you got to answer it. Who's he going to replace?
One.
See, this is what I like about Giddey. I said that, look, as of today, Sobey's the better player than Giddey. As of today, right now. Right? But for what Giddey brings long term, I would have had him in. That's my opinion, right? But Giddey, this is what I like about him. He messaged me about it and was fired up about it. He wasn't happy about it.
No.
And I actually people would take that as like, hey, it's just I like that shit. Yeah. I like the fact that he messaged me like what the fuck?
Oh, I'm better than him right now.
Better than him.
Absolutely.
But I forgot to ask you that. So who's he replacing for you?
Well, that is the obvious one. But based, and this is a real small sample size. So just based on what I've seen, I'm not 100% convinced that it's either him or Josh Green. Mm-hmm. Now, I think they both are – you can see a role for both of them.
Yeah.
But you know, you're not playing 12 guys.
Exactly.
And someone has to sit. And if you're thinking about – and you never gift anyone an Olympic jersey. You never do that.
But if it's close, you take the younger guy.
That's
Shane Hill tells that story, and I've mentioned it on the pod. 92, he went along and didn't play a whole lot.
That's correct.
Said he just basically ate ice creams.
He
but
did,
he said
Magnums.
It was instrumental. You remember? It was instrumental.
I was his roommate.
Instrumental for his development with 100%. The Boomers culture and program. And I think that's the hard thing with national teams is the forward thinking, because Gorge, look, you can't argue with what Gorge did.
Yep.
His win now mentality. But there needs to be a bit of direction of we want to win now, but we also got to have a bit of an eye for the future, because I'm not saying Josh is this guy, but Ben Simmons, you know, he got cut years ago and that's a soft spot now, and there's no real affiliation to that national team. Yeah. Bro, what do you got? Fact or fake news? Well, you said gold medal, so fact.
No, it's fact. They're going gold, USA, and I'll have Slovenia as my bronze medalist for the Olympics. But yeah, I say fact. They'll medal this Olympics for sure.
Okay, next.
The next NBA TV deal will be less than $75 billion, as reported last week. Fact or fake news?
I'm going to go fake news on this one. That is over 7, 8, 9 years, so still is, 7-8 billion a year. I think just the raw numbers that we spoke about last week, Drew, you might not have tuned in for that episode of Road Bows, but there is some dwindling numbers in NBA viewership, heavy dwindling numbers. So apparently the NBA TV viewership
is better than last year.
But last year was a coronavirus. There was a lot going on. But when you compare it to 2018, 2017, 2016, not looking good. The rate of the rate of people not tuning into NBA TV has exceeded the rate of cord cutting in the US. So, and we argue, we had a whole discussion about it last week where, you've got your Netflix and your Hulu Sports and all these platforms. Will they, it's not really a game for that service because they're not commercial based, where the value for pro sports, it's one of the last beacons of it being able to run live advertising. Because now you watch something on Netflix, you don't see an ad. You want to watch it, you want to get away from it. So that's my reasoning for, I think it's a number potentially reported.
So you say fact. Less than 75 billion?
I say fact, yeah. So I think it's going to be less than 75 billion.
Gaze, what do you think, brother?
Gee, it's an interesting one because I think that the way in which it's consumed and how in which someone gets a return on that investment, I tend to lean towards what Bogues was saying. But if the way that an organisation can dissect and break up the games, maybe it's got some merit because right now, what are they on right now? It's probably it's billions already per annum.
It's much less than, I think it's 4 or 5 probably, somewhere around there.
And the way in which the game is being consumed, in that where user pay and the global nature of it, here we are in Australia, and I don't know if it's still the case, but for many years, we per capita were the highest consumers of for NBA League Pass and any
legal.
other.
Yes, that's true. Legally purchased. Yes,
yeah,
so
well, that's true.
Yep.
If it's going to be pirated all around the world,
and I think we're 1 or 2 in authentic gear purchase too. Funnily enough.
Well, there you go.
And that was part of the reason why the NBA was like, we're not going to have a preseason game out there. That was what I got back. Was like, we already own the market. Why would we send
and
somewhat makes sense. It's not fair to reward the fans though as a thank you then maybe, but we buy the authentic shit. Whether it's spending $300 for the jersey,
not the 25.
Yeah, we're not buying the ones from Bali. So
from Alibaba.
Yeah.
Jump on Alibaba, you can pick one up.
And actually, $2.5 billion per year right now is the current deal. So that's a massive jump. That's a massive.
I can't. I'm saying that's. I don't think you're going to see that type of jump.
Less than. So fact.
Is that what you said?
Fact. Yeah. Pro.
Fact.
You know what? Why not keep the scam going? They've been scamming this long on the fucking TV deal. Let's go fucking fake news. Let's go fucking, it's going to be 100 fucking billion. Mask and gun, brother. Mask and fucking gun. Might as well.
Yeah. Someone will be right. What do you got next?
With Kawhi's injury, he opts into his contract instead of opting out and become a free agent.
Ooh, I think it might be fact. I think he's got a decent layoff because even the partial tears for ACLs can be almost as bad, right? As time out as an AC full rupture, right?
Yep.
Potentially can be the same, and then you're weary about coming back. So it would give him a bye year where he's still getting paid a shitload of money. Let's be honest, even if he comes back with, at 80%, he's still getting the max when he's a free agent. He's that good of a player. So I would say fact. I think he opts in, rehabs on the Clippers' dime, maybe gets healthy towards the end of next season, and then becomes a free agent.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to disagree with Bogues on this one, because I think these guys he'd be saying, well, I'm injured now. I've still got enough currency that I'm going to go and someone will sign me for a long term.
KD.
A long-term deal. But I think because of the nature and the age profile and all those things that unfortunately I have to lean with Bogues. But there's something in me says that these guys with the bravado and the ego and the long-term planning that maybe he thinks the time is right, but no, I don't think so.
Pro.
I got no problem to telling the Bogues to fuck off. I'm going to go against Bogues, and I'm going to say the Clippers because they don't own a draft pick to the year 4000 because of the fucking trades they made. I'm just going to say that they're going to say, fuck it. He'll opt out. He'll say, hey, opt out. We'll give you the max. We'll max you out as many years as you want. You name the deal because he owns that franchise right now. He owns it.
Right.
And if him and Paul George don't come together and come to them and they lose one of those guys, they're going to be fucked. And I don't think they care that he got his knee ripped up as far as like signing him long term, just because of how the medical is with these. It's not a death sentence like it was 15 years ago. So he'll probably get to 95% of what he's been through it. Now I don't know. I'm not a medical guy, obviously, but I think that he'll opt out. They'll sign him, and then they'll just wrap him up long-term to a max deal. That's my opinion.
That's interesting because that's the Clippers having to show a lot of faith in that.
Yeah, it can hinder you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna hamstring him in other areas for a long period of time. Whereas right now they can just, if he just stops, I don't know.
They are in win now mode, so it would make sense for him because, like Pro said, they got no draft picks. They're not even close to a rebuild
no, that's
yet.
true.
So it might just be push all the chips to the table and be like, we're going all in, we're overspending, whatever over the cap, who cares? Let's do it. But yeah, it will be interesting.
Right now, Clipper scouts are scouring hospitals in when kids are just getting out of the womb, scouting fucking guys for their draft class because that's the next draft class they're gonna have picking, first round picking. So yeah, I think they're gonna do that. So that's my deal.
All right. Great man, Andrew Gaze.
Hey,
thank you very much. Episode 29, Rogue Bogues. Hope you enjoyed. Pro, any final words for the great man we have here?
Few things. The grill gaze thing, I've done it pretty well over the course of the show. First of all, I spoke to one of your assistants from Seton Hall, Rod Baker, today.
Love him.
He's one of my best friends.
He's a great guy.
Love him. He's one of my best friends.
Yeah, love him to death. Bro, what is he doing these days?
He's a scout for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Right.
He's a he's a college scout for the 76ers. One of my best friends. I've known him close to 20 years. He adores you. I talked to him today. I said, look, before I mention your fucking name today and I throw a fucking hanging curveball to Barry Bonds in the steroid era, if you don't fucking like the guy and he doesn't like you, I won't mention the name. No. He goes, no. I love him. He loves me.
Yeah.
He was telling me how you got recruited at Seton Hall,
yeah.
how you beat the shit out of him in some fucking exhibition. And then him, PJ, John Carroll, which I know as well, who was an assistant in Boston when I was there. So, no, first of all, that.
Awesome.
He says to say hello.
Please pass on my regards because he's a good man, and I've actually got a little photo of him and me that I have at home. So he's very much dear to my heart.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's not one of our 27 listeners, so don't worry about it. So I'll tell him that. I don't think he's going to be listening to the show. Secondly, with your unbelievable fucking run, not only in the NBL but in the Olympics. Like it was like for me when I watched in '88, it was like you and Oscar Schmidt. I was an Oscar Schmidt guy in '88, and then you came along and did your thing. I was just hoping you wouldn't break a hip because guys at the age 57 or more when they're playing, that could be a downward spiral. But what's the best besides the American? Actually, I got a couple of questions on that. But besides the American teams, like in '96 and so in '92, what was the best team that you faced in the Olympics with the talent that you had to go against?
Easy. If you go to 1988, you got the old Yugoslavia and the old Soviet Union.
Dude, Sabonis had like 20 rebounds on you guys, right? Like 17 and 20, I think.
Well, Sabonis had problems because he had those Achilles, and we got Sabonis in that was
Sydney.
No, but yeah, he beat us there, but in Atlanta, he got hold of us and he hit a three. We had that down the stretch. We had the game one and Sabonis, of all things, come down and knock down a couple of threes down the stretch. But he was a freak. The best I ever saw Sabonis was prior to he got that Achilles problem. We played the World Championships in 1986. And this dude was doing stuff that even today, imagine Jokic on steroids. He'd get this like one-handed rebounds and just be able to underarm pass it full court and hit someone on the numbers as they're going to lay it up. I mean, he was just something that talk about what he would have been like if he had been playing in the NBA. He would have been mentioned. Now, I know he's held in great esteem because he went to the NBA and still did some very good things, but that was after he got hurt.
He could barely move, yeah.
Yeah, he was. But him in his prime, he would have been an incredible NBA player.
And I think Remus Kurtnitis played, right?
Yeah.
Against you guys in '88 too?
Yeah, absolutely.
He had like 21.
Yeah,
he was good. Last question. Now, in '96, the Shane Hill incident, obviously, with Barkley. I'm not going to go with that. 9,000 fucking people probably asked you about that.
Yeah.
Now, Malone and Bradkey got into it a little bit.
Yeah.
and then you tried to calm fucking Karl Malone down. You put your hand on his fucking chest, and he looked at that fucking hand. He was like, "Get that fucking hand, dude." I'm in my office. That game was 40 fucking years ago, and I shit my pants. How the fuck did you feel with that guy in your face like that?
No, that was like, some people can really hurt you because the man is an Adon. I mean, he is just ripped, and from when you actually touch someone and the synapses fire and send a message to your brain. It was not just the look; it was the touch of the man, the muscles, and every cell I could feel in my fingertips that I knew I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that this is not where I do my best work. So it was one where, as the captain of the team, you're trying to fly the flag. But that was one where I was genuinely scared. Usually, you've got fans. Surely this guy's not going to punch me. But I thought, no, this bloke could punch me, and I'm dead instantly. So it was one of the scariest moments,
dude. It was like fucking Apollo Creed when he put his shit against fucking Drago, and Drago was hit him like a fucking pound of rock. I was scared from, like I said, I watched that game and shit my pants in my office, and that game was 30 fucking years ago. And that was great, man.
Bradkey's not a small dude either. He's a big unit, but compared to the mailman.
Yeah, Malone shoved the shit out of him the last possession, so he got pissed at that, and it was like a no call. Yeah. And then I think that they got revved up, but that was unbelievable. But man, I appreciate shooting the shit today, man. It was an honor because you were one of my favorite Olympic guys, and I really appreciate your time, brother.
I appreciate it, bro. It's interesting. It's I'd heard some of the clips before, and they're true. The language and the profanity, it's all true. So, but it's in context and it's in fun. So I love it. Well done.
Pro swears from a good place, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You got to take it with what it is, and if you don't like it,
I don't mind it. It's good. It's fun.
Hey, I got a great story. So I'm doing a partnership, working out players and stuff, and I partnered up with this Christian school. And before they're going to sign the deal, the guy, the AD at the school, great guy. He was like, "By the way, we have a background check. Is there anything that I need to know?" I go, "Look, I said, sir, I have a speeding ticket back in '94. That's probably the closest thing you'll get to anything. But I'm going to tell you this. I co-host a podcast, and I'm a little vulgar on it. But besides that, I'm all right."
No, it's not vulgar. It's in context.
It's raw. We try to be. These are the way locker rooms, and it's raw. It's the way things are in the real world. We don't want to be the fake stuff, Drew. We have enough of that in the real world.
I like it.
All right,
it's all good.
Once again, thanks to Andrew Gaze. Thanks,
you,
bro.
Thanks,
and
bro.
We will.
Anytime, guys.
I'll see you next week, bro.
Absolutely, fellas. Hey, thank you for coming on. Appreciate you, Bogues.
Good man.